This is the Big O Show. 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 This is
So here we are. I wanted to show you the backyard again because we had some trouble last time, but you know, cuttersedgepro.com does some amazing stuff, and there are the boys and the girl. They're having fun. There we go. Right, Maiden? Right, Bono? There we go. They're having fun. I'm having fun. Look at our Sylvester palm. It is beautiful. We got another one in the front yard like that. You can take your home and landscaping to the next level. And the artificial turf, look at that. Look at that. The two dinosaurs going at it, huh? Look at that. Gotta love the dinosaurs. Look at them. They like to bite each other's legs. That's what they do. They play with each other and then they bite each other and they piss each other off. It's fun. One is Bono, which is the one farther away from you, and Maiden. She's the girl right here. She's a badass. That's for sure. So anyway, see the flowers are coming out. Very nice. cuttersedgepro.com, folks. This big tree there will start budding that I'm showing you there soon. It'll have all kinds of flowers. I'll post another video and I'll show it to you. This is a backyard where everybody gets to hang out. Over there in the corner there, I put the barbecue and cook. So that way it's the farthest away from the house, you know. If I light myself on fire or somebody else, we're out in the corner away from everybody. There you go. So you can get some flowers coming out, which is a beautiful thing. And I swear by this artificial turf, it always looks phenomenal. I don't have to cut it. I don't have to water it. And so I'm saving a lot of money, hundreds and thousands in the long run, because I'm not watering or, of course, cutting the grass. And you know, here in South Florida, we cut the grass like every 10 to 14 days.
When you move, you need a reliable company led by passionate folks eager to assist its customers during a transitional process that needs to be smooth. Call Essential Moving Experts at 844-368-5750 for all your local and long-distance moving needs. You can rely on Essential Moving Experts. Mention the Big O Radio Show and get $150 off. Family owned and operated. They offer free 30-day storage, full service moving, fully licensed, bonded, and insured. Moving was never so easy. EssentialMovingExperts.com.
There's no need to drive around South Florida wasting valuable time looking for a new or certified pre-owned Acura. Go to the #1 volume sales dealership in the Southeast United States. Craig Zinn's Acura of Pembroke Pines. Purchase with pace and space in a dealership tailored to your needs. From home buying to providing that personal touch. Contact the 2020 Satisfaction Award winner Craig Zinn's Acura of Pembroke Pines. 888-776-5123. That's 888-776-5123. Or visit them at 15601 Pines Boulevard in Pembroke Pines.
I think I know what this is. Houston, we have a package. Hello?
No matter where you are, the Sloman Shield Home Security System guards your home. With next-gen perimeter protection, 24/7 monitoring, and interior motion sensing. And right now, get a free Sloman Shield security system and doorbell camera, all professionally installed, for free.
Shield your world, the Sloman Shield.
With more than 62 years of litigation experience handling insurance disputes, Welton Rayom is committed to resolving even the toughest insurance claims quickly. At Welton Rayom, they don't get paid unless you win. They handle complex personal injury claims caused by the fault of another in both state and federal courts. They handle auto, trucking, motorcycle, slip and fall, and bicycle accidents. Call 954-966-4646. That's 954-966-4646. Welton Rayom can help.
Welcome to Caneswear. New store, new items, same great experience. Family owned and operated since 2010, Caneswear has the latest merchandise from the Miami Hurricanes, Miami Dolphins, Florida Panthers, Inter Miami CF, and more. Come visit us at our store in Davie on University Drive, just south of 595, or online at caneswear.com. Caneswear, the spot Miami fans shop.
All right, folks, the competition is set this Wednesday, January 31st, 7 p.m., Top Gun Indoor Range. Just got the plaque for the winner. Our first shooting contest at Top Gun, 7 o'clock. Hey, by the way, everybody participating in the shooting contest will get a Big O t-shirt. So come on out and participate. Even participating, you win. We'll have some prizes and giveaways. The winner will get this plaque, Orvieto's Awards, and more. They are in North Miami Beach. I've known them for about 30 years. They do great work. And then, of course, Steve and all the great people at Top Gun Indoor Range is going to be fun. We're going to make this a contest every couple of months. We're going to have some fun. So this is our first plaque ever for the giveaway. So who's going to win it? Who is it? Who's got the best shot here in South Florida? Meet us this Wednesday, January 31st, 7 p.m., Top Gun Indoor Range. Y'all be good out there. And, of course, tune in to the Big O Radio Show daily, 10 a.m. on YouTube.
The viewpoint statements or beliefs expressed on the following program by the host, guests, or callers are not necessarily the opinions of FantasyXS.com, Media Group Inc. ownership, management, sponsors, or website. When it comes to South Florida sports teams, very few in the media have witnessed, lived, and covered it like the Big O. Let's start the program dedicated to your favorite South Florida teams with a passion that's unmatched. The Big O Radio Show is on. Here's the Big O.
Hey, welcome aboard. Yes, sir. Good morning. Hope you all are doing well on a hump day. It is Top Gun Day. That's right there. Top Gun Indoor Range tonight. And have some fun, man. You know, I should have brought the plaque with me from downstairs. But anyway, so got the plaque ready to go. Got some prizes. Got some really cool Perdomo prizes we're going to give away. Thanks to our friends at Perdomo and Caneswear, Brett at Caneswear. So got some other prizes besides, of course, the first place prize, which is, you know, the plaque. And we'll give a prize also to that person that wins it, man, or woman that wins it. Be interesting to see if any ladies compete in the contest tonight, in the shooting contest at Top Gun Indoor Range. So we're gonna find out who's got the best shot on the show, who's got the best aim, who hits the most targets. We will find out. And it's even got like a little AI and everything that scores it for you. So it's really, really cool. So we'll have some fun with that. We got exciting stuff in the Bitcoin world because at the end of today, which I would expect, we're going to have a Fed meeting today around 1:30 with Powell talking. I would imagine it's going to be positive. I don't think there's going to be anything negative or anything like that. Not that they're going to cut rates yet. They will soon. And then things will get incredibly bullish on top of that. But it all depends on what he says today. And this should be able to set the markets off a little bit, stocks and crypto. But today, Bitcoin could end up with its 5th straight green month. That's incredibly strong. They haven't done that since the last halving. And guess when the halving's coming? It's about 80 days from now, 75, 80 days. I don't know, something like that. It's a block. It's not really like a day. So you got to kind of time the block and what day and all that kind of stuff, depending on the pace of everything going on. But it's somewhere around in that area where we'll have the halving. And then because I've seen 75, I've seen 77, I've seen 80. It's right around there somewhere. But we're in later April, in other words, is when we're going to hit that halving. And then it's I think I saw where the ETFs right now are buying on average 1,200 Bitcoins a day. And they don't produce that. They produce like 600 and something a day. And in April, it'll go down to 300 and something a day. So it is just, the demand is going to continue now to climb. And then the availability of Bitcoin will be less. So pretty strong, for those people that don't follow it, 5 straight green months now for Bitcoin ending today, which is just an absolutely bullish sign going right in to this entire year, the halving and everything else going on that's going to happen. It's pretty damn bullish. So looking forward to that. Strong day today. And if Powell says anything positive, markets are going to absolutely, the stock market's already at its all-time high. You know what I mean? So that's obviously the rich are doing very well. Let's just put it that way. Okay. So anyway, we got a lot of stuff to talk about. We got people on ESPN catching up to our show, which that's usually kind of the case nationally, locally. We're always like 8 steps ahead of everybody else. So we'll talk about that story. We got to talk about Ron Jaworski, former Eagle, former Dolphin. And he had something to say. We got the audio on that. Boy, and I got to apologize. First of all, I should have opened up with the damn apology. I am sorry for those of you that went with me on University of Miami last night, plus 4.5. I felt really good about that game, I got to tell you. And I don't watch a lot of college basketball. Okay. Apparently the people at the University of Miami listened to me or something because they stopped following me in basketball. Because I diss college basketball because I'm really not a big college basketball guy anymore. People my age can't be impressed with today's college basketball. If they say they are, they're lying. Really, they're lying. They're liars. They're just being nice. They're trying to be polite and all that stuff. So apparently I know they're kind of touchy over there in Coral Gables. Whatever, dude. I love them. They don't want to love me back. That's fine. I don't really give a shit. But last night, if you watch the game, and I don't watch a lot of college basketball, but I do watch University of Miami. Obviously, I watch FAU and I watch Nova. I watch every team that I get an opportunity, to watch locally. I watch them all, when I get an opportunity. And so I watched that game last night. And if you watched it at the end of that game, we should have won. I don't know if should have won. But how does Nigel Pack shot 6 of 8 from the free throw line? the 2 free throws he missed were the 2 most important free throws at the end when he got fouled for the 3-point shot. And I'm sitting there with the wife and I'm saying, man, it's really hard to make 3 free throws, no matter what, for anybody. It's just like a difficult thing. So I kind of expected him to make 2 of 3. Kid makes the first one and then misses the second and third. I'm like, damn. And then Omir, who's been a monster, how he misses that layup under the basket is beyond me. Okay. He should have made it and he should have been fouled also at the same time. Okay. Should have been at the line and we easily would have won by the 4.5. It's just those two things happened to us in the last 40 seconds of the stupid game. That's the only reason that they ended up losing by 6. They easily should have lost by 1 or 2, or maybe even gotten into overtime. And who knows what happens after that. But, you know, it's funny. Like, I know we lost, but damn, dude, we should have won. We should have won last night. Nigel Pack, I mean, I don't know. Like, why would he miss those free throws? You know, shit happens, man. So they end up coming up short, 74-68. So if you went with me and the plus 4.5, it didn't work out. I'll tell you. Although I tell you what I also did. I doubled up my bet because I took KC plus the 1.5, I think it was. Last night I got it at 2, and I doubled up. You want to keep giving me more points? Let's go. I got Mahomes winning this thing anyway. So I don't care. We'll have Matt Verderame on today at 11 o'clock. David Furones will join us at 10:30. And I got to tell you, for me, I'm going to ask Matt, but I think actually this Chiefs defense is, you know, pretty damn special. I think it's the best defense that Mahomes has ever had in his run. And I think we're not giving that defense enough respect. And I know they just lost the defensive end. Charles, what's his name? Charles Omenihu. And he had like 7 sacks in 11 games. So he was a nice free agent pickup for them. So that was a loss for them. But we'll see if they've got somebody else off the bench that can at least have one good game. Because that's the beauty of all of that. Also, you know, sometimes when you have somebody coming off the bench and they got to fill in for several weeks, you don't know how they're going to handle it. In one game, all professionals, man. That's why they're professionals. They can have a great day, a great moment at any time. And so maybe they have somebody that can fill in and help out a little bit there. But I think that Chiefs defense is really special. And they got an opportunity, I think, at winning it all. I am taking Mahomes. I will take Mahomes every single time in this kind of situation. You know, you got it. So we got a lot of things to talk about. We got a bunch of stuff on the basketball side. Got something, a very, very interesting development, I think, in the NFL, that something that at first glance I was completely right, and so were tons of you, because it was so obvious. But we could end up becoming wrong. And I'm going to explain that because it's kind of interesting. You know what I mean? It's one that we stood on our ground, a lot of us, because we had facts were all on our side in history. But sometimes history gets altered. You know what I'm saying? And things happen. And an interesting development yesterday that could lead to something. And we'll talk about that today also on the show. Really odd situation, and at the same time, absolutely hilarious going on in basketball. Okay? It's just one of those where I just have to laugh at the NBA, at its players, and sometimes, you know what, karma bites you in the ass. So we'll get into that. I mean, there's all kinds of stuff. I got some music stuff, a lot of things. And so we'll get to that. David Furones will join us at 10:30. So we'll talk a little Dolphins, even though there's really no breaking news or nothing, but we got a couple things that we can talk to him about, and we'll get into it there. Let me do a little roll call. Remember, you can always support the show by making a donation at Cash App or Venmo at Cash Big O Show. That is Cash Big O Show. And you can make a Bitcoin donation on Cash App or Venmo, which, that's the donation that gets me most excited right there. But either way, they all support the show. You can send in a super chat, and we appreciate all of you out there. Sneak Attack 305 says, I'm finally first. Good morning, O and Sean. Thank you, Sneak Attack. Kyle Cockrell is in. True Fin Fan is in. Jamie Zorria out in San Jose. And he reminds everybody to smash that like button. Steve Chapman. I don't have any brilliant takes this morning, but if I think of any, I'll let you know. Thank you, Steve. Joseph is in. Good morning, Big O. How you doing, my honest brother? We try. We're doing good. We're hanging in there. We're getting ready. We're less than a week away from surgery. That's what we're getting ready for. And we got clearance all over the place. Got my chest x-ray, got my blood work, by the way, my blood sugar went down again. Because I took another, they had to take blood work again. Because I took blood work about a month ago, and my blood sugar went down, and I got it back down again. So it's heading in the right direction. Okay. I'm trying to eat less of the bad stuff. I'm still eating bad stuff. I'm still cheating, but I'm trying to cheat less and less and less, little by little. That's what we're trying to do. I don't have a lot of discipline, but we'll try. And that's all I can tell you, Joseph. Honestly, I don't have a lot of discipline. Gus 1388, Steven Gonzalez. Man, that article from The Athletic on the Jets, what a shit show. I did not read it, but are you surprised? You wanted to bring in Aaron Rodgers, right? And let him run the organization. Shit like that's going to happen. And that owner is a disaster. Omar Lopez, Dolphinier, Miles Deep, Coach AJ, Aaron Hernandez, Alexis Palenzuela. Let's see, Ray Sosa, One-Eyed Jack, Fireman. Thank you, sir. Thank you. Appreciate it. You have a great day. Horn Dog is in. Crush the egos, Spo. Yeah, well, Spo can do whatever he wants, right? He's earned that. He's earned more than everybody else on that team. Silence Assassin, Alexis Palenzuela. It's a bye-bye stage for now. Load up. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Take advantage. Some great deals in crypto right now. I think Polygon's an amazing deal. I think Gala is a great deal. I think you could still get Kryptonite right now. Kryptonite went up to 8 cents. Now it's just under 7 cents right now. Still hasn't made that run yet. There's a lot of good things. I think Neutron is down at a really good price overall. I think Ethereum is at a very good price. Bitcoin, don't stop buying Bitcoin until that parabolic run starts. Then it's going to get too expensive. But for now, it is still in an absolute buying zone. There's a lot of good things, man. Ondo, there's a bunch of really good opportunities right now in Bitcoin and in crypto for you to take advantage. Drago is in. Nick is in. Man of 1,005 holds. Alex Toledo. Big O, please tell everyone how right you are about the Miami Heat. It's time to trade Jimmy and or Hero. Yeah, but that was I was right 3 years ago, not now. Now is the obvious to trade him now. I was before this last extension, you had to trade him. And I know you had a nice run the last 2 years, but you didn't win it. And it's great to have the runs, but if you don't get that other star, the Jimmy Butler thing was never going to work out. You're going to make some nice runs because you got the best coach in the business. But yeah, trading Jimmy now is going to be a lot harder because everybody knows he doesn't give a shit about the regular season. So what, you're going to trade for him? And, oh, well, hey, Jimmy, we need you to try right now because we're trying to, make a run here. We need you to try during the regulars. Is that how the conversation is going to go for a trade? It's kind of odd. So it's trading Jimmy Butler now, trading X now, or even last year. Okay. Great example. We still have a bunch of people, billions, that have no idea. They still think it's a scam, even though the dollar's the real scam. But that tells you how smart those people are, because they don't really study money. So they don't even know their own dollar's a scam. Yet this isn't. But, that's kind of the way it goes. But wait till Bitcoin hits like 70 and 80 and 100,000. Then they're all going to FOMO in, because then they got convinced. I mean, by now, if you see BlackRock and ARK Investments and all that getting in, and that doesn't like the light bulb in your brain doesn't go off at this moment, like the smartest and richest and most powerful people in the world are getting into this. That has not, if your bulb in your head has not gone on at that point, okay, it's fine if you didn't listen to me a year ago, 2 years ago, 3 years ago. Okay, fine. The big boys weren't in the mix. The adults weren't in the room. It was just us kids, right? But the kids actually knew what was going on. This is one of the few things in life where the normal, regular working stiff got in before the smart people. So this is the same thing now. You want to trade X after he's already done. After he has 7 interceptions for 3 years, after he had 10 in 1. You want to trade Butler now that you've thoroughly worn out his body. He can't hold up for a whole year. He refuses to play in the regular season. So now you want to trade him. Okay, well, it's a little late now to FOMO in on the trade. This is why, what's one of our favorite words on the show? You must compartmentalize your feelings. Oh, man, I love what X did. He had 10 interceptions, but now's the time to get off the gravy train. It's hard to say that. Most of you didn't have the balls. You know why? You have this shit in your head that you think he was going to have 10 interceptions every year now. Now he has 7 in 3 years. And you look at him, he gets burned. He's just not the guy anymore. He's not a shutdown corner. He's not the guy that you're desperately missing next year, because he's not himself anymore. So you're not desperately missing him next year. In fact, you're better off without him because he's severely overpaid. But you should have traded him when he had value, fresh off 10 interceptions. And that way you sucker somebody else to think that 9 or 8 or 7 are coming next year, when it never happens. And it'll never happen again. And the same thing with Jimmy Butler. Now you've had many playoff runs, deep runs, which has put more wear and tear on his body. And everybody knows he doesn't try. So trading him now, and he has an attitude that is near impossible for most coaches to handle, near impossible for most organizations to handle. And by the way, can I also add a caveat? Joel Embiid just got injured last night. I don't know how serious. Have you found out yet, Sean? Have you seen anything on how serious the Joel Embiid injury is? If he's done for the year, I actually feel that's your only option for Jimmy Butler. I don't think there's another team that has what it takes to step forward and trade for Jimmy Butler. Plus, let me also add this caveat. 3 years ago or 2 years ago, you would have gotten a lot more for Jimmy. Now, you've got to take on an enormous salary for the next couple of years for a player that doesn't play in the regular season and doesn't help you gain in the standings in the regular season. And so he's also got an attitude, right, with it. If you can't take all of that, then, or if you have to take all of that, you're going to give less. But 2 or 3 years ago, you didn't have nearly as much exposed.
His body wasn't nearly as worn out. You haven't sold it already year after year that he doesn't give a shit about the regular season. A couple of years ago, you could have gotten by with that. Now you have thoroughly sold it the last couple of years that he refuses to play in the regular season. It becomes that much harder. So FOMO in on the trade for Jimmy. FOMO in last year, this year. You can't do it anymore because they're going to release him on the trade for X. You know, it's super easy. It's super lazy. Okay? Super lazy for Kendrick Perkins, but this is what they do on ESPN. Okay? On ESPN, this is the bullshit that they do. This is the bullshit that they do. Now's when you're going to mention it, because, of course, this is going to stir it up. It'll get you views and all that. Now, when I do it 2 or 3 years ago, I know I'm a bad guy. I'm negative. I'm all that. No, I'm super intelligent. I'm very smart at that point. Smarter than even the Miami Heat on that one. How do you like them apples? Smarter than Kendrick Perkins. You're not going to get much for Jimmy Butler anymore because the burden to trade him is a lot. So you're almost probably better off just keeping him for the last 2 seasons. Do not extend and just play it out, you know, unless somebody can actually offer you that they become desperate. But I don't believe there's a lot on the table for Jimmy Butler at this point. When I wanted to trade him, that's when you would have gotten something. When I wanted to trade X, that's when you would have gotten something. So it's not so much that I was right about both of those situations. And I took a lot of heat at that moment for that stuff because, of course, it's, you know, it's kind of negative at that point to say it when really I'm not trying to be negative. I'm actually being very pro-Dolphins and pro-Heat at that moment. You don't fan out there. Some of you don't realize it because most of you disagreed with me. Very few of you agreed with me to make those trades. So, you know, this is what we got to live with now. What can I tell you? What do we have here? One-Eyed Jack Fireman says, have a wonderful day and keep on rocking on the Fins World. Thank you, my friend. Horn Dog. What else do we have here? NorCal says, people our age know it's new, it's doo-doo. That's right. Do you watch UF? No, I don't. Like UF basketball? No. I only watch University of Miami basketball. I don't really watch anything else. Oh, no, I watch Nova. I'm sorry. I watch Nova. I watch FAU, and I'll watch a little FIU. I won't watch a game of FIU. I might watch a couple of minutes or something and then get the hell out. You know what I mean? FIU's not very good at basketball. They're not entertaining to watch. FAU's entertaining. John L. Davis, I can watch that sumbitch play every single night. He's one of my favorite college players in South Florida history now, John L. Davis. He is worth the watch every single time for FAU. His leadership, his toughness, his clutchness. John L. Davis is fun to watch, dude. Fun to watch. So, no, I don't, Frankie, I don't. You're probably a Gator. That's probably why you watch. I don't watch FSU or FA, Florida or FSU or UCF or no. I really don't know. I only watch the local teams, and that's it. That's the only thing, Frankie. JT says, I picked up Bradley Beal and his wife and friends the other night from the game. Damn, your team dropped 7 in a row. Well, it'd be 8 tonight with Kansas City. With they used to be the Kansas City Kings, weren't they? With the Sacramento Kings. Anyway, True Fin Fan says, not just people your age, Big O. I'll be 46 and the 15th, and I can't watch college basketball anymore. Hell, I can't watch the NBA anymore. 3-point contest nowadays. Whatever happened to your footwork? Yeah, no. post game, and yeah, it's a different game now, right? But college basketball is, and it's funny because the Lady Canes follow me, but the men's basketball team unfollowed me. I never say, I'm a huge Larinaga guy. Like I talk so good about the UM basketball program. I talk so good about Larinaga. Somebody must have heard me talk about how college basketball overall is garbage, which I'm sorry. Anybody that has honesty will tell you the same thing. Today's college basketball cannot be compared to what happened 25, 35 years ago. Sorry. It's not even close. And anybody that wants to, I remember I was doing an interview with, oh God, what's her name? She's a freaking legend. But we have a saying in Spanish, yo no tengo pelo en la lengua, which means it doesn't sound great in English, but I don't have hair in my tongue. So it's kind of, you say it in Spanish because if you had a hairy tongue, it would get in the way of you talking, right? So I'm not going to struggle to tell you what I'm going to say. I'm going to brutally honest tell you what it is. I forgot her name now. She's married to Dick Stockton. Damn it, man. She's a legend. She's been in this town forever, too. And she was talking, and this was only like 2 years ago. We were at Hialeah. We were at Hialeah Park. We were doing the Larry Little thing. And she was telling me, I love college basketball, this and that, don't you? And I'm like, no, I don't. I'm sorry. I don't love college basketball. I loved it when I used to see Patrick Ewing and Michael Jordan and Larry Johnson and, Christian Laettner. And I can watch them for 3 to 4 years. That's when I used to love college basketball. That's when college basketball. But they are so sensitive over there that they unfollowed me. Because they couldn't unfollow me for anything negative about the basketball program. Even a couple of years ago, where some of you were getting off the Larinaga bandwagon, I was like, no, dude, he's fine. You're going to have your peaks and valleys, and it's all good. Because they've never caught me saying, football can do that, because I've ripped into Al Golden and stuff like that, and they get sensitive. That's fine. But, man, that is one sensitive-ass program, the University of Miami. Holy shit. Wow. Zero cojones with the people that are in there. Anyway, Big O, since we talked sports movies yesterday, saw Celtic Pride the other day. That movie is low-key hidden gem. So funny. It is, actually. It is. That's a good one. That's a good one. I haven't seen that one in a while. Nice match with the hat and the shirt. Thank you, sir. Appreciate it. Karoon. Dwayne Dugan. Welcome, sir. D. Laz, any predictions for the NBA trade deadline? Yeah, they're stuck with Jimmy. Yeah. You've got all your hair still. I'm jealous. Yeah, I guess I'm lucky. I'm losing some hair, but yeah, I have for a 57-year-old man. Yeah, I am more than gifted with my hair. Because I had friends that were losing hair when they were in their 30s. So I know it's a thing. Vinny Leña, AD Dances, Paul in Connecticut. Paul, what is it that you always have like different names when you sign on? How many accounts do you have? Or do you get to like rename? I don't know how it is when you guys do this stuff. Frankie, you in a little pendle and everything? Look at you, Frankie. We've doubled our money with Pendle. I mean, that's sick. Pendle has been, it's kind of like what I did with Injective. But Injective was even more impressive because that was in the middle of the damn bear market. I found the best producing coin in the entire crypto market, and I gave you guys Injective. And now Pendle's going to explode, bro. If it's moving this strong now, I can't wait till it really opens up, dude. Big O, are you talking about Terry Rozier says about the difference between the Hornets organization and the Heat. No, sir. No, sir. I'm not talking at all about Terry Rozier at all. Lewis says trade Hero. If you can. What's there to trade Hero for, dude? Who wants Hero? Hey, send our boy Furones a reminder because he's a Cuban on Cuban time, so that's kind of normal. Alex says, I argue with you on Hero, but I was totally wrong. No more than a 6-man. Yeah, Hero he's soft, dude. He's just not that guy. Armando V, great news on the lab work. Oh, health is wealth. Thank you, sir. Thank you. I'm trying, man. I'm terrible, but I'm trying. D Laz, how important is Bam to this team, especially the connection he has with other stars in the league? Yeah, how many stars is he bringing over? All those stars, how much is he bringing over? And by the way, when's he ever going to step up offensively? Oh, never. But he is important in other ways. As a team player, as a super role player, he's really, really important. As a conduit to stars, he's not important at all. There are no stars coming. So it's kind of like the whole Jimmy Butler bullshit. Bunch of people tell me, oh, no, Jimmy will have no problem recruiting a star. Well, I'm still waiting. Where's it at? Where are all those people that told me that Jimmy Butler would have no problem recruiting a star? Where are they? Wait a minute. Hold on a second. I don't see them under the table. Let me look over at the hallway. No. Where are they? Oh, they must be with those people that thought that Bitcoin was going down to $10,000. I remember those idiots. Where are they now? Where are they? Oh, they're all together in the same place. I got it now. No, Jimmy Butler will have no problem recruiting a star. How about Jimmy Butler can never recruit a star? So, BlackRock, you will own nothing and be happy. Eat the bugs, Big O. I own it. I already have it in my wallet, and BlackRock can't get to it. What BlackRock is doing is helping me, my brother. You don't have any. You lose. I win. BlackRock helps me. That's the part you don't get. See, when I see something like that, I know that Seth Lover doesn't have a penny in any kind of investment, doesn't know anything about it, and probably just follows television or whatever. You know, BlackRock and ARK Investments and Fidelity, they're all helping me. They're all helping Brooklyn Rob. They're all helping Lisa Rose and Crypto Noob and Crypto Finn and I don't know, some of the other guys that might be Frankie Fresco. Okay? Those of us that are actually like really investing, actually BlackRock is our friend. They're not taking my Bitcoin. I have mine in my cold storage wallet. They're taking your Bitcoin because you didn't buy any, my brother. See? Because I know you don't have any because you think it's negative for me. So that's why you don't have any. The part you don't understand is we got in before BlackRock. We got in before ARK Investments and Fidelity. We bought it cheaper than them. They're going to buy thousands of it, maybe millions, and they're going to buy it way more expensive, and they're going to raise the price. And so they're going to give us more profits. The ignorance that is out there in America is amazing. Do you know why? Because when it comes to politics, all you all follow is the culture stuff. None of you really follow the finances and the money. None of you know anything about what our dollar is and how it's produced and how it's manipulated and how it's stretched to hell and how it's killed. None of you know that because most of you don't follow any of that. Less than 2% of Americans probably follow that. You follow culture wars and stupidity and let's go hate Taylor Swift and let's go hate this guy and let's not vote for that person. Let's hate that. That's what you all are tied in. guys like you right there, Seth Lover, I read right through you, my brother. If anything, people like Brooklyn Rob are cheering on BlackRock like I am. Buy more, buy more, buy more. It's not going to stop because we already got in it. We've been in it for years. We've been loading up. We're good. You're not. That's what I keep telling you. Let's get to a Miami Dolphins report. Our Welt and Rail Miami Dolphins report with the one and only David Furones.
All rise, football fans, as the Welt and Rail Miami Dolphins report with David Furones is in session.
Welton Rayom has more than 62 years of litigation experience handling insurance disputes. They are committed to resolving even the toughest insurance claims quickly. Call them for a free consultation. 954-966-4646. Here's Miami Dolphins insider David Furones.
Right, and it was Leslie Visser. Nice job by you, Cubs. I appreciate that. Mr. Furones, how you feeling? You feeling good?
Yes, sir. Came back from a nice vacation, so got back to work yesterday. Caught everyone up on the defensive coordinator candidates. I was still tracking it a little bit whenever I got the chance. So kept up with the candidates who were getting interviews, and then now this is a big week of interviews for that, and we'll see what it means going forward.
Are you married? Are you married?
Am I? No.
You're single?
No,
You're single?
I am not.
Okay. I was going to ask you how was that ass
in
Columbia, but I can't get into it because you have a girlfriend apparently. So I don't want to see, I've been married for I'm going to celebrate my 30th wedding anniversary. My wife and we're comfortable, bro. So I can openly talk because she understands this is a guy show. So if I have to talk about women, I'm going to talk about women. You know what I'm saying? But I know a lot of you aren't necessarily in the same kind of relationship, so I can't necessarily. I know Joe Rose would get your ass in trouble, but I'm not going to do that. I'm going to respect that part and not ask you because all we hear about Colombia is that there's you know what I'm saying. By the way, that's Colombia's been known as a place that. Lonely men go to a lot to get a little companionship. See, you didn't go for that. You went for other reasons, but I'm sure you noticed that there were, right? I'm sure you noticed.
Oh, it was a boys' trip. It was a boys' trip. But did you hear me wrong? I did say I am single. You might have heard me wrong.
Oh, you are single.
That I am single. Yeah.
So then, how was the ass in Colombia, bro? I heard it was fantastic. I hear the streets are loaded with good-looking women there.
Oh, they're very attractive women, yes. And we can go into further detail in a private moment, but on the show, we'll keep the topic.
Are they very friendly with tourists?
Oh, yeah. Well, actually, and everyone is really. I mean, I just found Colombian people in general to be very friendly across the board.
Yeah. Dude, yeah. It's the cartels are the only problem.
Not like my people, Cuban. Not like my people, Cuban. We're all assholes.
Yeah, Colombian people are actually really, really cool. It's just you just can't mess with the with the drug lords. That's the only part.
Right. There's an element.
But you know what?
You got to stay away from.
Right. And being Cuban and growing up in the 80s, I'm already used to that. So I just know, I know how to keep my distance from those people. I respect. You respect them. They usually respect you and leave you alone. You know what I'm saying? But I would imagine it was a guy's trip in Colombia. Yeah, that's a lot of fun right there. That's a lot of fun right there. Good stuff.
It was
good
a good
stuff.
time.
Right. So who's do you have a gut feeling? Because they've had a thorough search now, and they are interviewing a slew of people. I thought for sure they're going to pick one of the two guys inside the building for continuity purposes. Now, they did a very responsible thing in talking to everybody. And so obviously a Brandon Staley runs the same kind of system, that kind of stuff. So you tell me, will an outside guy be the option? Will the inside guy be the option? Do you have a gut feeling right now?
Yeah, if we're just talking gut feeling, I mean, I felt this way just sort of at the beginning of the week, going through the weekend, and he was the first name to sort of pop up. But maybe it would be Brandon Staley, and not like I feel tremendously convinced about it, but maybe like percentages wise, I'd give him a slight edge over others. Just I think Mike McDaniel really does have a level of respect for that meeting in 2022, the defensive game plan that Staley had a lot of defenders out, and the Chargers defense really stifled the Dolphins in that game. And then sure, Mike McDaniel, then he got his when he had him again the next year in the opener, and the Dolphins put up 36 points on Brandon Staley's same defense. In fact, a healthier version of the defense to start the next season. So. But I mean, I think he does just respect the level of how difficult it is to game plan against them, that he makes you just bring an extra level of game planning to that matchup. And but Mike McDaniel, he had the whole offseason that year to prepare for that week game. So so that probably helped him a lot in that regard. And other than that, then I might look at Leslie Frazier, just because he's another veteran mine. He's had a year off. And he would offer a lot of insight into the team that the Dolphins have to get over, which is the Buffalo Bills, having been there for so long before he took this little sabbatical hiatus, whatever it is in his mind. There are the internal candidates, Anthony Campanelli, who I love as a person, and Ryan Slowick, who one of the Slowick brothers. They're both on the rise. So he just 1 year as outside linebackers coach. He's up for it, interviewing, and then a couple of younger up and coming outside candidates emerging. Chris Kiffin, who has a previous tie with Mike McDaniel, and also Anthony Weaver with the Baltimore Ravens. So those intrigue me, but I feel like to get a veteran defensive mind might be more of the move because of this win now window that the Dolphins are in, more so than just going with an unproven promoting a guy on his way up. This may not be the situation you want to do that in.
Yeah, and I think you bring up a great point, because I thought you go within because you stay with continuity. But now that Brandon Staley is kind of in the mix, Leslie, I don't think runs the exact same defense, but Brandon does. And so you also don't want to have to make too many changes, and you want as much continuity as possible. So the Brandon Staley one starts to make more sense to me, only because of what you just said. The experience is already there with Brandon Staley. It's already proven. Whereas, unfortunately, with the guys, the assistant coaches you have with the Dolphins, they're really what's it called? Hill, right? Was the other guy. He was a defensive coordinator for a short time, right? For 1 year.
Yes, with the Chargers. It might have been two. I'd have to look it up again, but right.
So yeah. So he has a little bit of experience. So that's kind of and if you're Mike McDaniel, you don't have any more room to screw up anymore. You have to get shit fixed next year, whether you like it or not, because you may not get a fourth year, or if you screw up next year, your fourth year is hot seat hell year for you. You know what I mean? Because if you screw up next year, by the end of that year, you're going to have 80% of the fan base wanting to fire you. And maybe they will. But if you hang on, you're barely going to hang on, and you're going to be, with a lot of heat. So he has to do something this offseason that doesn't really upset the cart too much. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, definitely. And this is such an important hire for him from that perspective, because you felt like, okay, he's going into year two. He nailed it with the Vic Fangio hire. Josh Boyer was a holdover from the previous regime, and that Mike McDaniel wanted Fangio from the start, but then the Dolphins' internal push, whatever it was, to keep Boyer, keep some level of continuity on the previous defense, which was successful under Brian Flores, all that. But then he got the guy he wanted, and then now that guy is gone after 1 year. So I think Mike from that regard, you talk about scheme, probably wants that continuity because this is already the style that he wanted on defense. And Brandon Staley is an understudy of Vic Fangio. He spent time under him both in Chicago when Fangio last year he was defensive coordinator there, and then Denver when that year, that 2018 season with the Bears, got him into the head coaching ranks of Fangio, and then that way Brandon Staley was under him there in Denver, then rose to become defensive coordinator for a year with the Rams, gets a head coaching job, now going back into the coordinator ranks, based largely on some of his game management decisions. So. Yeah, I mean, that's why I see him, and it's like you said, it's really important for Mike McDaniel to nail this hire.
Yeah, he better nail this hire. What'd you think of Ron Jaworski's comments about Vic Fangio? Did you hear him?
Oh, yes, that there was more so a problem with the players wanting to party and take part in the Miami lifestyle as opposed to Vic Fangio's way of coaching.
For those that have not heard what Ron Jaworski told a radio show host, or podcast, I don't know what the hell it was, but let's hear from Ron Jaworski. Sean, can you play that soundbite for us, por favor?
Impact 0%. Coach is coach. And, I have connections as well around this league. And, I hear another side of that story that there were some players on that defense that didn't want to work, didn't want to put the time in, didn't want to put the effort in, didn't want to make the commitment to be successful. Guys like to party at night, and, South Beach is a really great place to party. And Vic tried to get those guys to push those guys to become harder workers and better athletes and more committed to their team. And he couldn't get through to those guys. So those are the guys that Vic was pushing, and they're the guys that are whining right now.
Javon Holland is not that guy. Sorry. I'm going to go out on a limb, okay? And read who Javon Holland is. No. When he's kicking rocks, see, that's the part where I call bullshit for Ron Jaworski. You know what I'm saying? Because I've been thinking about this for the last 24 hours, and I don't know about the other guys. Okay. Who was the other guy? Was it Brandon Jones that complained? Right. I think it was. And even Cam, or who was it?
No. Well, Javon Holland posted the kicking rocks.
And somebody else.
Cam Smith posted the unlocked emoji. But then also Jalen Ramsey throughout the season and a lot of interviews was very open about that he wishes he was used in a different way. He was sort of the first one.
Right. Jalen Ramsey. You want to tell me rookie Jalen Ramsey that was maybe a little bit immature and all that he came in like all of us when we grow up. But Jalen Ramsey now, after all these years, is as professional as it gets. He's very religious, by the way. He's he puts up something every single day. Okay. And then Javon Holland, I don't even have to hang out with Javon Holland. All I need to do is see who he is. And that guy is way mature and too intelligent to be doing stupid things out in the street. So I'm sorry. I don't know the other kid. I don't know Cam Smith well. So I don't know if he's a party guy or if he's not, if he's lazy, he's a hard worker. I don't know the guy from a hole in the wall. But I'm going to go out on a limb and say that Jalen Ramsey and Javon Holland, when it comes to character, I'm going to go with a 10 there. I'm good with those guys. So I call some bullshit on Ron Jaworski. You go ahead.
Yeah, I mean, those are two guys that they have that dog in them, that phrase that we hear so often nowadays. Ramsey established. He is as established as it gets when it comes to that. You don't have to worry about him. And him more so it was complaints about how he was using the scheme. He wanted to do more. So it wasn't.
He didn't want to work.
Yeah.
He would have made it back from that injury that quickly. Okay?
Yeah.
Come on, bro.
Yeah. Well, yeah. That certainly was not the issue with him. He wanted to work more. He wanted to be more involved in the defense. It was actually quite the opposite. And Javon Holland, I mean, he is that dog that he's got. I mean, you see it like when he has that 99-yard Hail Mary pick six, the way he goes up, gets the ball, and he's immediately just bolting it down the other way. It's just those type of plays, the range that he plays with. So I don't see him as
how he carries himself, my brother. That's all. I don't even care about the player. I look at Javon Holland, the man, the way he handles the media, the way he carries himself. He's just one of those dudes, bro. Like, seriously? Like, you can't tell that, come on, man. And that's where I was thinking overnight. I'm going, you're going after Ramsey and Holland? Yeah, I'm not going with that. Sorry. Not going with that one. Sorry.
Yeah, on Holland, at least I'll say that certainly I wouldn't question necessarily his work ethic. It's just he's a guy that's at least proven in that regard that he's got it up there. And then he did have an injury late in the year, and maybe Vic Fangio felt that he should have been out there. He should have been back sooner from it. But you never know what's going on behind the scenes as far as how a guy is healing, is coming back from it. So he missed some time, tried to come back. He had to tap out of one game because it wasn't working for him. So just
that was one of the odd. That's an odd injury, dude.
Yeah, he had it on both knees, so he can't even compensate.
Come on, yeah, come on. I mean, that was. How do you come back from that? You that's just a process. You don't get to cheat. You don't get to use half of your body. You don't get to do it. You can't work without both legs. You know what I'm saying? And again, and nothing against Cam Smith, by the way. I apologize, Cam. I'm not saying you did anything. I'm not saying you didn't. I just don't know anything about you, man. So I can't defend you. But I am going to go out on a limb and say the other two guys, nah. You're out. Go pick a. If you're telling me Preston Williams doesn't want to work, okay. If you tell me, Robbie Chosen's a little bit of aloof, okay. There. If you tell me Raekwon Davis is a little consistent, let's go. I'm all good. I have track record. I can see it. You're going to start picking on Javon Holland and Jalen Ramsey? No, we got to fight now. We're going to fight now. That's what we're going to do because no way. So when
guys like that, you make it work with them.
Come on, bro. Those are leaders.
And even previously we've mentioned, all right, so I'm a younger guy, but I have somewhat of an old school mentality where sometimes it's both. It's a give and take, players and the coaches. That if the players are changing so much, Vic Fangio is used to one style of coaching. How come it was never a problem? His style of coaching in past years. Okay, a little bit of that, but still, as a coach, you always, and this is what Mike McDaniel, I believe, wants to instill is you adjust to the guys that you have. So a good coach is versatile in that regard, in that he can understand the guys that he has in the locker room, those personalities, and fit to how to make them their best. It's not that the players have to always adjust to the coach. It's more so that's the coach's job to adjust to the players that he has. Yeah.
And let me tell you something. I've known about Holland since the draft. Okay. I when I was at onside doing our thing, we created draft profiles. Okay. And we would play them throughout the day leading up to the draft. So and positions of need, and whether it was offensive line or a wide receiver or whatever. And I would pick a few of them. Do you know how many profiles I made for safeties?
How many?
Javon Holland is the only one I made. There was a reason why I did that. I didn't tell anybody, but I just put it out there. Like, even if anybody picked it up leading up to the draft, like, damn, he has a variety of all the other, but in safety, which we need, he only picked one guy. I wonder why. And so, I kind of threw it out there because I already knew about him, and people in the NFL were telling me, people all over the league love this kid. They loved his maturity. They loved his leadership qualities. Javon Holland was one of those guys that was wanted by a lot of teams. Miami was one of the lucky ones to end up drafting him, but it was, it's so that to me, it was just kind of funny when I hear Jaws say that. And to me, it just sounds like an old Philadelphia Eagles player / former employee / homer that is just kind of take the company line all the time. And that's not my style, bro. Yeah, I'm a hometown guy, but I'm not going to take the company line. That's not going to be my deal. You know what I mean? But that's kind of what it came off of with Jaws.
Right. Well, when your source is Ron Jaworski in that case, who is a beloved Eagle and so on and so forth, he's giving you the Eagle side, and whatever he's hearing, he's not hearing from inside the Dolphins' current structure and locker room. He's not privy to that information to know that any of those players are out partying in Miami, and that's sort of also kind of like a generalization made. Okay, these Miami athletes, they probably wanted to party too much. They were out and about instead of watching film every night or something because they're in Miami. So
I know what I saw. Vic didn't use Ramsey to shadow people. I know what I saw. Vic didn't blitz the Tennessee quarterback when he had to. I know what I saw. Josh Boyer and Brian Flores blitzed the shit out of Lamar Jackson. And I predicted it last week. I said, we're going to have Matt Verderame at 11. And I told Matt, I said, Matt, Spags is going to blitz the shit out of him because Fangio didn't. And of course, if you have 3 or 4 seconds, any quarterback can complete some passes with 3 or 4 seconds. But if you get after Lamar and don't allow him to think, there's no way he's going to beat you. And sure enough, that's what they did. So to me, what I saw from Fangio was a guy that did not adjust, because you have to adjust at times. Not everything is going to go your way. You're not going to be able to play your style of football all the time. There are times where you're going to be out of your comfort zone, but it's important for you to be out of your comfort zone. And that would have been those moments right there. You should have blitzed the shit out of Lamar Jackson. That's the only way you beat him. You're going to make a mistake or two, and he's going to pop a run, and it's going to happen. But you got to live with it. Didn't they live with a 74-yard run last year? Was it 74 or 75 yards, right? Am I correct?
Like that. Yeah. A long play to Bateman. Rashad Bateman had a long touchdown.
Right. You live with it. And in the second half, you kept getting after him, and you shut him down. And you came back and won the game. So to me, that's what I saw from Vic. A guy that refused to adjust and was set in his ways. I talk a lot about Jimmy Johnson. He comes in, he's set in his ways, and I can't trade Dan Marino. Okay, so if I can't trade him, I'm going to trade away Irving Fryer. I'm going to trade away his pass-catching running backs. I'm going to take away audibles from him. Really? So that's going to make your team better? Is that what you're doing here? And so, I've seen coaches that are set in their ways, and they set their team back. Mike McDaniel does that at times when he doesn't commit to the run like he's supposed to. And Vic Fangio did it this past season where there were times he just would not adjust, dude.
Yeah. And in fact, you bring up that Ravens example. I mean, the John Harbaugh put that game a little bit too much on Lamar Jackson and let Steve Spagnuolo sort of dictate that. I mean, you have the top rushing offense and you go to the pass that often in a game that it's not like it was out of hand, like they had to go to the air. They could have kept the run game in the game plan for much longer. So similar also to McDaniel in some cases.
Listen, what I keep saying is Tua's not Marino, so stop playing him like Marino. Tua's not John Elway. Tua's not Joe Burrow, and Tua's not Pat Mahomes. You need to play him the way you play Jordan Love, the way you play C.J. Stroud, the way you play Lamar Jackson. While they're all different in one way or another, you need to complement all these kind of guys with the run game. There are very few quarterbacks. I'm 57, and in the last 50 years, I don't know if I can name 15 quarterbacks that I would put back there and say, you have no running game for 4 quarters. Let's go. We got to do that for the next month. I can do that with Mahomes and Burrow. I can't do that with anybody else in the NFL. I can do that with Elway. I can do that with Marino. I can do that with Warren Moon. There's only a few of those guys in the history of the game, Jim Kelly or something. And even Jim Kelly had Thurman Thomas, who's a freaking monster and a half. You know what I'm saying?
Are you giving that to Josh Allen?
No, of course not. He doesn't have the accuracy to do that. Are you kidding me? He'll get in trouble every time by throwing interceptions. Mahomes and Burrow are the only guys that you can say in a day, oh shit, the running game's over. We got to just sling it. Mahomes and Burrow are the only ones. And even with Mahomes, they ran the ball with this kid 32 times. Well, not the kid, because he ran not 32, but they ran the ball 32 times. They didn't have a lot of success, but that's the difference. They were smart. They kept them honest. They kept expecting the run. Spags, I don't know what he did to them, but he screwed with them right away, and they dumped the run. And you cannot do that in the NFL with 98% of the quarterbacks. You must complement them with the run. You have to. Yeah. And that's just the thing everywhere. It's not a Lamar thing. It's not just a Tua thing. It's really in general in the history of this game. Bro, Bob Greasy, but we did the math, right? Bob Greasy threw like 18 passes in 2 Super Bowls that they won. Okay? 18 or 19 passes in 2 Super Bowls.
That was with Larry Zonka, Mercury Morris, and Jim Kick back there.
What? Hey, when you have the Ravens, that's what you should have kept going
You
against.
have that. You had the 2023 version. Yeah.
Yeah, you have to live and die with what you are. You can't go and try to be what you're not. That doesn't help you out.
Any defensive coordinator, any defense, they prefer to go up against an offense that's one-dimensional. If you have to defend both the run and the pass, that makes everything twice as difficult.
Yep, exactly. And with that secondary, you just went and challenged the best secondary in the league in Kansas City.
Stopping the run or not, commit.
Oh,
yeah, especially when your run game is the number one in the league. Oh, yeah. Mm-hmm.
Right. It's crazy. Yeah. Anyway, what do you got going on the Sun Sentinel so folks can check you out?
Yeah, more defensive coordinator updates, whatever comes up, and that'll go through the week. It looks like it's definitely going through the weekend with the interview schedule going at least through Friday, and then maybe check in on what's going on in the Pro Bowl. A lot of Dolphins out there, so that could be going on this weekend, and I'll be posting a Dolphins Q&A. I tweeted asking for Dolphins questions, so still taking questions over there if anyone wants something answered either online on X or in the Sun Sentinel.
All right. Did you reach out to Deshaun Watson?
Did I reach out to Deshaun Watson?
Where am I going?
Why would that?
Well, I would figure you need a massage on that growing after being in Colombia for a few days. So, I'm just saying.
Yeah, this guy.
Follow him on Twitter at David Furones _
Long enough.
South Florida Sun Sentinel. Right here on the Welch and Rail Miami Dolphins Report. David, we love you, brother. We'll catch up later on.
All right, sounds good.
Call my friends, Welton Rayom, 954-966-4646.
This has been another session of the Welton Rayom Miami Dolphins Report with David Furones. At Welton Rayom, they don't get paid unless you win. They handle complex personal injury claims caused by the fault of another in both state and federal courts. They handle auto, trucking, motorcycle slip and fall, and bicycle accidents. Call 954-966-4646. Welton Rayom can help.
All right. That's right. If your business wants to join our platform, you can call us 786-754-4664. Let's bring them aboard. Let's talk a little football to start off hour number 2 of the program. The great Matt Verderame, ready to go. He is going to the Super Bowl. Yeah, baby.
Yeah. 4 trips now for them in 5 years. It's been quite a run. It's worked out, and look, they're the underdog again for the 3rd straight week. So we'll see what happens.
If you want to be a dumbass and give me points with Mahomes, I'll take it, schmuck. You go ahead. Last week it was 3. Then when it went to 3.5, I go no. Let me have that. And then it went to 4. I doubled my bet. And then it went to 4.5, and I tripled my bet. And a buddy of mine actually got it at 5, the son of a bitch, because I would have added more money on. You saw that too?
Yeah, there were a couple of books that went to 5 before the game.
And I'm like, bro, this is a layup. Let's go, dude. And then the other thing, which I was just talking to David, how the hell do you not stay running if you're Baltimore?
I don't know.
What? was Spags like a really scary kid in Halloween or something? Does he have something in him? Because he scared them right out of the run early on, and I don't know what they saw in that defense, but they were convinced that they weren't going to have success. So somehow or another, let's go attack their strength.
It was very bizarre. I mean, the thing that made it so weird to me was a lot of people have pointed out, and correctly, like the Chiefs put 7-8 guys in the line of scrimmage. Teams have done that against the Ravens all year long. I mean, it's not like that's exactly new. The teams have stacked the box against Baltimore and said, look, you're going to have to beat it some other way. And yet, I just think Baltimore panicked. Like, I know that's not like dynamite and over-the-top analysis. I think when they saw the Chiefs go down the field on their first 2 drives and score 2 touchdowns, I think they started to just feel like, okay, we got to score. We got to match them. We got to match them. And they got away from who they are. I mean, once that game turned into Jackson throwing the ball against that secondary, the game was over. Like, the Chiefs might have the best secondary in football.
No, there's no might. There's no might.
And to sit there and throw the ball against Snead and McDuffie the entire game was just insane. I honestly, when they got to halftime at 17-7, I felt like the game was over because I just didn't think Baltimore was going to be able to score enough. And look, it took a couple of end zone turnovers, but in the end, yeah, I didn't get it. I don't know how if you're Baltimore, you hand the ball to your running back 6 times in a game that was 1 or 2 scores the whole time. It was very bizarre.
Yeah, I did not understand that, and obviously, but again, you played right into their hands, and you saw all those deep balls. And by the way, I don't know if you caught the announcers during the game. I don't know where were you watching the game or you were just watching it live, so you weren't listening to the announcers. But they kept searching for an interference flag, which there were a couple times that, like the end zone one with Likely, it was kind of a little interference, but the pass was so short.
Yeah, they're not going to call
it. And then there were a couple other ones that the passes were so overthrown. All those deep balls pretty much were overthrown. And you know, the interesting part that I tell people, the 2 big plays he made, one came out of a sack that should have happened, and he gets out and he throws that bomb, okay, which you're not going to live like that. More often than not, you will end up sacked. And then the other one was they tipped your pass, which is a negative, but your athleticism, you went and caught the damn ball. But just like the pass that you tried to throw to the side, and Chris tips it down, boom, it's over. And so these are all the things that I think I don't – and there's a part of me also, by the way, it's not all on Todd Monken. It's also on Lamar, because I think Lamar had a hard-on this year to prove to people that I'm a pocket passer. And so that's why, to his credit, he stayed patient in the pocket as much as possible to find people. And, yeah, there were times like when our stupid-ass Dolphins, you know, Boyer and Flo for 2 years blitzed the shit out of him. And as I told you last week, I told you, Spags needs to blitz the shit out of him. And that's exactly what you got to do, because you can't allow him to sit there and think and have 3.5, 4 seconds, because any quarterback in the NFL is going to burn your ass if you give him 3.5, 4 seconds. Don't let him think. And to me, that's the problem with Lamar this year. He got away from who he is also. And maybe he's tired of the injuries and the bumps and the bruises, but it's just like Josh Allen. It's the same thing where a lot of us were wrong. Oh, dude, they run Josh too much. That's stupid. Well, guess what? That's the only way he can play, because he back there and throw 40 times. If he does, he's going to throw 3 or 4 interceptions.
Yeah, look, I mean, in the end, the Ravens are not built to throw the ball 37 times, which is how many times they threw the ball. And if you told me before that game they're throwing the ball 30 or more times, I would have said, oh, they're going to lose. I mean, they're going to lose that game. They panicked. And I think one thing that in that game really shone through was the experience and the lack of it in some cases. You know, I mean, you have before the game, Justin Tucker's on the side of the field, and he's kind of getting in Mahomes' way. And it's like, what are you doing? Just go to the other side of the field. Go to where you normally are. Then on top of that, there's 5 personal fouls in the game, all by Baltimore. And a lot of them just dumb stuff. I mean, Clowney could have hit Mahomes, but he leads with the helmet. It's a penalty 10 times out of 10. Travis Jones was like he wasn't thrown out. He basically tried to take his head off. That's 15 yards. Kyle Van Noy, third guy in, you're going to get 15 yards. I mean, Zay Flowers, you push the guy down, you spin the ball in his face, you're going to get flagged. Like, those 5 penalties.
The linebacker off, he puts the offensive lineman on his ass.
Drills him. Yeah, I mean, and you know what? That to me, that along with the departure from the run game, that was experience. That was just panic and not knowing what to do. I also think, frankly, Kansas City did something I didn't think they could do. They just bullied them. They just intimidated them from the start of the game. Physically, they had a 7-minute drive and a 9-minute drive to start the game. They basically just said, "Look, we're gonna push you all over the field." And to Baltimore's credit, in the second half they responded, but by the time they responded, they were down 10 points, and it was too late.
What I love is your team sucked running the ball, but
they kept doing it.
But you didn't stop because you kept those linebackers and that D line honest. They knew, because the beauty of that is, and again for the Ravens, and by the way, for Todd, if you're watching, if you run more, there's like less people like getting after your quarterback, moron. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, it's what I was saying before you came on. There's only 2 guys in the league that I would trust and say, you have no running game tonight. You got to sling it 40 times, and it's Mahomes and Burrow, and it ends there.
I agree. I agree.
Now, there's a reason why Burrow gets injured all the time. When you do that, people are teeing off on you, and Andy Reid would not have none of that. You're not just going to tee off on Mahomes. We're not going to tell you, we've abandoned the run and we're just going to pass. And so now everybody's confident, and now they're going to blitz, and they're going to – brother, they were taking shots at Mahomes, but they weren't able to tee off on him. Can you imagine if they would have been able to tee off on Mahomes? There you go.
It was a very bizarre game by Baltimore. It was a team that it felt like there was desperation almost from 7-0. I mean, it was just a bizarre game. I mean, you have Gus Edwards rip off a 15-yard run on your second drive. The guy doesn't get the ball again until the third quarter. It was just weird. I mean, everything about it was weird. Quite honestly, Baltimore's lucky they weren't down by a heck of a lot more at halftime. I mean, there's a penalty, which was fine. It's a hold on Smith that comes back. They turn the ball over.
Reed's got to take the goddamn field goal, dude. You got to goddamn field goal.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, that game easily could have been 20, 24-7 at halftime, and that game's over. I mean, we weren't even having this conversation. That game's a blowout. It's a runaway. Yeah. But, for Baltimore, it's tough. I mean, now you go into the offseason, and you got a ton of free agents. I mean, whether you're talking about Clowney, or you're talking about Matabike, or you're talking about Beckham, or Zeitler, or on and on and on. There's Geno Stone. Had 7 picks this year. There's a lot of guys who are free agents, and so now you're to a point like, if you're Baltimore, that was probably your best shot, because now Jackson's contract kicks in. You're paying huge money to him, and you're going to lose a lot of these guys. I mean, you'll keep a few of them, but you're going to lose a lot of them, and you have other guys in that team who are older. Van Noy just had 9 sacks. He's not having 9 sacks again. I mean, you had a year where you got Queen, by the way, is another one's a free agent, Patrick Queen. Like, you have another, how many good years out of Marlon Humphrey are left? I mean, how many really good years? It's tough. You're losing a lot of guys. J.K. Dobbins, I have no idea at this point, health-wise, what he can give you going forward. It's been unfortunate, but he's hurt all the time. So if you're the Ravens, I mean, you got listen, they're going to be good, but that team was loaded, and to lose that game and score 10 points, that's a brutal way to end it.
Yeah, by the way, they got the Keaton kid that got injured. He'll come back, and that's probably will be Dobbins' replacement. Yeah, I believe he's a 5th rounder, so he's cheap.
Yeah, he was day 3. Yep.
Yeah. So that'll help out. Here's the other thing, okay? So the season started all screwed up for the Chiefs with the offense and frustrations and all that. Now it's turned into a glorious finish at the end. But then the other thing that's kind of developed that we didn't see coming is this the best defense that Pat Mahomes has ever had?
Oh, yeah. Oh, God, yeah. Easily. I mean, they in Baltimore, probably the 2 best defenses in the NFL this year. I mean, that was the one thing we talked about it last week, I believe. I thought it was really underplayed. I mean, they're number 2 in almost everything defensively this year. Everything. I mean, number 2 in sacks, number 2 in pressure rate. Against the pass, they were number 1 in a variety of categories, or number 2, depending on what you were looking at. And it makes for an interesting game against the 49ers, because quite honestly, I have a feeling in this game, I think the Chiefs are going to do exactly what they did to the Ravens. They're going to put a bunch of guys to the line. They're going to blitz the hell out of Purdy. They're going to put Snead and McDuffie on an island outside. And they're going to say, go ahead, beat us. And, I mean, it's a weird game because you don't
have a secondary to do it. That's the
why. They can just match up. They don't care. They can match up with you. They got 3 or 4 corners they trust, 2 of which are all pro level players,
and the most physical secondary in the NFL. By the way,
yes, I mean Snead especially. Snead basically plays it like it's a boxing match.
Ask Tyreek Hill ragdolled.
Yeah, so I mean it's that's going to be fascinating because it's weird. Normally you think of the Niners and the Chiefs, and you think, well, the Niners are the defensive team, and that really isn't the case. I mean, the Chiefs this year have been much more of a defensive team. The Niners are an average defensive team in a lot of metrics this year. I mean, it's been so you have Mahomes going against the weaker of the 2 defenses, and you have Spagnuolo against Purdy. I mean, for me, if the Niners are going to win this game, Purdy's got to play the best games ever played, because if he doesn't, they're just going to say, you're not running the ball, and we're going to just tee off constantly, and you're going to have to deal with it. If they win the Super Bowl this year, Mahomes is going to get all the credit, which, listen, that's part of the deal. You get the credit, you get to play him as a quarterback. That defense is the reason they're winning the Super Bowl. I mean, Mahomes has been terrific down the stretch, but that defense is the single reason they're in the position they're in right now.
I've already made 3 bets. I took them at 1, I took them at plus 1.5, and I took them at plus 2 now. You want to keep doing that? Go ahead, bro. You want to keep giving me points? Go ahead.
I was shocked. I got to be honest with you.
Watch me take the money line also. Okay?
I was shocked. I was shocked they were an underdog in the game. Like, when that line broke, I respect San Francisco, but I was like, it's Mahomes and Purdy. You're going to take I'm not a gambler. I don't bet. But to me, if I ever did, that'd be like a mortgage payment on that. Like, you're going to – I mean, you have Mahomes and Purdy, and Mahomes is playing against the worst defense. Like, I just couldn't – I was like, my God. Like, I could see it if it was years ago when they played, Buckner and Armstead and Ford and that whole line with Bosa and Sherman and Jimmy Ward in the backfield. I mean – it's not a great Niners defense. I mean, Armstead's still there. He's not the player once was years ago. Bosa's an excellent player. The linebackers are very good. And Ward's a very good cornerback. Like, the rest of that defense, you can attack it. You can go after it. And they don't do a whole lot of disguising. They kind of play a very static if Mahomes knows what you're doing, it's over. I mean, he's going to throw the ball over. I was shocked. I saw that line. I was like, wow, okay. They're underdogs in
by
the
the way, Kelsey is playing at an incredibly high level. That catch he made in the middle of the field. One, it was a sensational throw because he put it where only Kelsey could catch it, but the effort Kelsey made to catch it.
Yeah.
He's now in that zone too, which is also, scary.
Well,
so that's going to be cool.
Knowing them well. One thing about this game that will be a legitimate factor is they got to the Super Bowl a couple years ago with the chance to repeat, and it was the worst night of their lives. They got blown out. They couldn't block. If you don't think that is in the minds of everybody who played on that football team a couple of years ago, I mean, especially the guys with legacies on it, where they're going to be sitting there going, well, nobody's done this in 20-plus years. Well, we had a shot, and we blew it. I mean, I think of the 4 teams they've played in the Super Bowl, this Niners team is probably the weakest of the 4. I mean, I thought the Eagles were better a year ago. The Buccaneers had Brady. I mean, that alone, they're scarier. And then that first Niners team, that team was a more complete team. That team was ridiculous on defense. Look, I respect this 49ers team. I think they're good. But I just think this might be one of those games where it's a little bit of a buzzsaw. I mean, Kansas City is just – they're rolling right now. They didn't play well all year long. They're playing well now. And they're just trucking people.
Again, it's what we talked about. Teams like this get bored with the regular season. And now that the heat has picked up the last couple of weeks, this is what they want. They love this shit. And you know what? I think Kansas City becomes more dangerous now because they're coming off 2 road wins, something they had never done before. So now you're also trying to do something you had never done before, win back-to-back Super Bowls on top of all of that. So you're just fueling this fire for this team. There's now there are carrots dangling in front of them. Oh, you don't think we're good enough? Oh, Vegas doesn't think we're good enough. Oh, okay, great. Oh, you think we're over the hill? Oh, you think we can't play? Oh, you think Kelsey's done? Oh, you think, and so you just given them also bulletin board material, and then and then this defense has surprised us to be as great as they are now too. On top of all of that, because this secondary that they drafted 2 years ago has matured into the best secondary in the NFL. That's some pretty impressive shit.
It's funny. A, you're right. But B, they've been underdogs 4 times in the last 2 years in the playoffs, and obviously they're 4-0. I mean, they've won all these games. Listen, this is more of a gut feel than anything else. I just feel in this game like the Chiefs are going to be motivated to the hilt in this game for all the reasons you just mentioned. But I just think Mahomes, I mean, let's face it, at this point, he's not chasing anybody playing right now. He's chasing ghosts. And to do that, if you repeat, you join a very select few guys who have ever done that. And you join, the obviously Brady, Montana, Aikman, Greasy, Starr, Bradshaw. But in the Super Bowl, the salary cap era, the only guy to ever do it is Brady and Elway. Those are the only two guys. I mean, right. Aikman did it 1 year in the cap, 1 year not. But you look at this. I mean, this is just an opportunity. Look, I think it's going to be a good game, but I really do feel like in this game, the Chiefs. Sometimes you just look at a team, and they're just playing their best right now. They're the best they've been right now, and that team. And they get a week off here. Obviously, so do the Niners. But Kelsey get that week of rest. They should get Willie Gay back. That'll be big for the middle of their defense. I mean, it's just they're playing lights out. They're playing great football.
What kind of a loss is Charles? Because he had, I believe, 7 sacks in 11 games. So he was a nice little pickup in free agency, dude.
Very nice, very nice. It's unfortunate. He was excellent for him. I mean, look, they have depth there. They have Karlaftis and Mike Dan, who I think gets 7.5 sacks this year. He'll play a lot, and they kick Jones outside on third down, so they'll do that. I mean, but he's a loss. He's a loss for sure. I don't expect Tooney to play either. I think Tooney's going to be out for that game. So, they're going to be missing those two guys. I think Gay will be back. I don't think anybody else will be missing that wasn't missing in the AFC title game. They got out of that relatively healthy aside from Menahu, but he's a loss. That said, I think one of the strengths, one of the reasons that defense has been so good this year is their depth. They just have so many guys who can come in and play. But he's definitely a loss. He's been excellent for them this season.
Okay, before I ask you about the Senior Bowl, one question, and I got to tell you, I forgot the tweets out there. I told you right when it happened. I think you were kind of talking about the trade a little bit, and I told you Anunoby would be a fantastic compliment to the point guard.
It's working out.
And in fact, I told you, I think in that same tweet, I told you if the Knicks get one more star,
right,
they're a contender. Okay, because I like the big guy. I don't really look at him as a superstar or anything, but I think they need one more star next to him. But let me tell you, Anunoby, brother, that's been a hell of a pickup for you guys. That was a perfect fit, dude.
They're 14-2 since that trade, and right now they don't have Randall and Anunoby didn't even play the last 2 games. And since Anunoby, I hope I'm not wrong with this. I think they've won by an average of 19 points per game. I mean, they're just annihilating teams. They killed Denver, they killed Philly, they just beat somebody else the other day. It was pretty. Miami. They beat the Heat in a game that was close to the fourth quarter, and they pulled away.
Everybody beats the Heat right now.
I know it is true. It is true. But they'll be fine. The Heat, they'll be a 7 seed. They'll be in the conference final. But it's they've been unbelievable. The Knicks have been. I mean, it's the best they've been since the '90s when I was a kid. And they had Ewing and Oakley and Starks and all those guys. No, it's been fun. It's been great.
All right. So, anything stand out so far at the Senior Bowl?
Yeah, I tell you, I like some of these receivers. I really do. Brendan Rice, Jerry Rice's son, out of USC. He's looked great. He's been good. I talked to him a little bit yesterday. Look, everybody here loves Ladd McConkey out of Georgia. Everybody's obsessed with him. You can see he runs nice shots. I'll tell you what, out of your state, Pearsall for the Gators. I led my notebook with Roman Wilson and Brendan Rice yesterday. Those 3
Watch
receivers.
out with those Gator receivers there, Mr. Chief.
I know. But he looks great. He's been the best route runner here, him and McConkey. I was impressed by that. And then, I thought the quarterbacks so far, I think, have been so-so. I mean, Penix and Nix. I thought Nix was okay yesterday. Probably the same with Penix. I thought Hartman struggled for Notre Dame. I thought he had a tough day. But, the quarterbacks have kind of been the storyline here, of course, as they always are. And I thought they were okay yesterday. They're actually starting to do team drills now with some of these guys. I'm curious to see how they play today. I'd like to see them pick up their games a little bit.
All right. Good stuff. And look at you looking at receivers, knowing that Kansas City's probably going to add one in the draft.
There's a ton of them out here. What do you want me to do? I got my eyes. I'll tell you what, on the defensive side of the ball, flip it around. I like Hall out of Ohio State, the D lineman. He put a nasty spin move on a tackle yesterday. I like him. And then the corner, there's a lot of corners actually here, pretty good. A couple of kids out of Penn State. Kalen King, I like him a lot. Dixon's a guy who, like, I think he needs to be refined. He's like overly physical, but if you can work on his feet, I think he could be pretty good as like a day 3 pick. And then the kid Cam Hart out of Notre Dame, I like him. Big kid, long. I think he might be a guy who rises during this process.
Yeah, and look at you looking at a defensive lineman because again, Chris Jones.
They can draft anybody. I'm trying to cover the whole thing.
I know where you're coming from. I know your Chiefs. I know what they might be looking for, so I understand. You always play chess, bro. I know. The rest of us are playing checkers. You're playing chess. All right, what do you got going on Sports Illustrated so folks can check it out, my friend?
Actually, so I will pedal it one more time. So right now, this week, it's a 5-part series, and it's the 50 most influential teams in NFL history. Go online at SI.com. Go check it out. Today, it's 30 through 21. We're releasing them 10 teams at a time, so the first 30 are out. I'll tell everybody here, the 1984 Dolphins are already released. They're out on the list. There's another Dolphins team to come, as you can imagine. But listen, go check that out. I interviewed Nat Moore for that part of it. It's been great. It's in print. It's 16 pages if you want to read it in print. But the word count is cut down significantly in print because it has to be. Online, it's about 5,000 words a day. But it is not just me. It is panelists talking, but it is also guys like Nat Moore, guys like Dan Fouts, guys like Bob Trumpy, Joe Namath, you name it, they're in there. So please check that out. It was a 6-month-long piece of work. It took a while, so I'd appreciate it if people go read it.
Nat Moore, one of the finest human beings on the entire planet.
Great guy.
You will not find a better human being than Nat Moore. He is just outstanding. And so are you, sir. Follow Matt Verderame on Twitter at Matt Verderame and catch his work there at Sports Illustrated. Matt, as always, have a great week, my friend. Enjoy Mobile, and I'm going to miss that barbecue with you.
I know. I'm going there in about a half hour. I'll miss you. Take care.
You got it, brother. Be good. There you go. The great Matt Verderame. We love him, man. Great segment as always. We appreciate it big time. Oh, man. What else? What do we have here on the chat board? I don't know if Reed or Mahomes said it, but the offense wasn't there to score in the second half. They were there just to take time off. If the Ravens made it close, the Chiefs would have scored the next drive. Well, they also left a field goal right there at the end of the game. And they left a field goal in the first half. Those are 6 points there they easily could have had on top of everything else that was going on. Either way, man, listen, that's a good defense that Baltimore has. It was just amazing how the Chiefs got them completely out of their game that quickly. So, yeah. Jermaine says also overthrew an open receiver on a deep pass down the sidelines. Well, if you watched, Lamar overthrew several receivers because that's kind of what he does down the sidelines. Gus says, have you noticed that San Francisco, Detroit, and Kansas City, everybody touches the ball on their offense? Take notes, Mike McDaniel. Yeah, exactly. We know he's got to use the running game a lot more. He's got to spread the ball around. Okay. He's got to get plays in on time. There's a lot of things he's got to do. He's got to start winning challenges on a consistent basis. Lamar is a mid QB, but an elite runner. Exactly. That's it. Let's see. Eli Apple was one of those guys who likes to party a lot and said Cam Smith should have started over Eli Apple. That's what Omar Kelly said. Well, I don't know. I didn't listen to what Omar Kelly said, and I can just tell you that we'll find out about Cam Smith this coming season. We'll see if it was that the old man just had it out for him. We don't know. We'll find out. But you don't be telling me that Javon Holland wants to go out and party and Jalen Ramsey. No, dude. Sorry. That shit with Jaws doesn't fly. So, those are when Javon Holland is complaining about you, I have a problem with the person he's complaining about. Do you know what that means? That means I trust Javon Holland more than I trust Vic Fangio or Ron Jaworski. Especially Ron Jaworski, who knows nothing inside the building with the Dolphins. I have more access than Ron Jaworski in the Dolphin building 30 years ago. Now it's not even close. But when I was first getting into the business, I had more connections in that building at that point. And I didn't have a lot of connections at that point. So I don't think Ron Jaworski knows jack shit about what's going on here, to be quite honest. And when you're telling me that the people complaining and then those were partying and then that's Javon Holland and that's Jalen Ramsey, you lost me there. You lost all credibility with me right there. You're done. I want nothing to know with you anymore. By the way, Bitcoin is racing to 44,000 right now. It's at 43,448. It's been going up steady here for the last couple of hours here. So looking for that 5th straight month in the green, Bitcoin. That's pretty damn impressive, ladies and gentlemen. Pretty damn impressive. And we'll see what happens in 2 hours when Powell addresses the media. Hopefully he gives some positive stuff. Ando's back down to 22 when I told you last week. It went up to 26, right? And so now it's down to 22, and I'm getting in now. I'm going to get in on a little Ando now. I was thinking about it, but now I'm in. By the way, you can make a donation through Cash App or Venmo at Cash Big O Show. That is Cash Big O Show, Cash App or Venmo. And, of course, you can make a Bitcoin donation, too. Cash App or Venmo. Cash Big O Show. Let's get to our 3A graphic sports calendar before I get to what I want to talk about with the Dolphins and the Heat and the NFL. We got a couple of hot-button subjects I want to get into. But, first of all, Alan Blanco and the great people at 3A Graphics last night. The Canes lost to NC State 74-68. They've got Vatek noon on Saturday. Tonight, the Kings and the Heat in action. 7:30 the tip. No Duncan Robinson. He's out. Panthers off till next Tuesday. All-Star weekend. They'll take on the Flyers on the 6th of February, next Tuesday, the day I get my operation on my foot. Saturday, it'll be FAU, the number 20 team in the country. They've moved up in the standings. They will host Tulsa, 6 o'clock. And tonight, 7:30, baby, the Sharks are roaming the waters. They're visiting Lynn University and those Fighting Knights. NSU, of course, 15-2, 9-2 in the conference, 3-2 on the road. Lynn, by the way, is 9-0 at home. So they have not lost at home. So Nova looks to hand Lynn their first loss at home. That is your 3A Graphics Sports Calendar, custom printing and embroidery. Call Alan Blanco and the great people at 3A Graphics. They will get it done. I promise you that. Heat-wise. So the Heat have got some issues. They've lost 7 in a row. They are 11-5 in their 5-11 in their last 16, which is way more depressing than 7 in a row. 5-11 in the last 16. They've got the Kings tonight. I don't know why the Heat are favored by 1.5. That is just absolutely weird, to be quite honest. And now we've got people on ESPN coming out and saying, oh, they should trade Jimmy Butler. This is the deal. This is what's coming out now. Trade Jimmy Butler. Time to trade for Jimmy Butler. And these are these weak-ass hot takes that we get on ESPN because, you know, it's so obvious. This is the stuff that fans come up with. You know, trade Butler now when it's like brutally obvious and it's almost impossible to trade him. Most teams cannot take on Jimmy's ego. Most teams can't handle Jimmy's ego. Most teams will not want to pay him $50 million a year while he plays 65% of the games. And maybe 50% of the games, because some of the games he's playing, he's not even trying. So I don't even know it's 50. Maybe it's 35% of the games where he actually tries. Hard to trade for that. And then it's also very injury prone. So this is a guy that's going to miss games or take games off. It's interesting, right? So it sounds cute there. Oh, no, let's go trade Butler now. But Kendrick Perkins, of course, does not get it. So these are lazy takes. But that's all you get on ESPN. That's what you get on Fox. And that's what you get in local radio a lot of times. Lazy ass takes. That's a lazy take. It's a lazy take because you didn't think about it. You didn't realize where they're at now with the salary, his age, his wear and tear, and who he is. How many teams, think about this, how many teams can take on Jimmy Butler, the character, the injury history, and salary? Well, a lot. There aren't a lot of teams saying, yeah, we'll make $50 million. You know what they're going to do? They're going to unload bad salaries on you. That's what's going to end up happening. Now, if you trade him 2 or 3 years ago, you don't have the last couple of years of watching him not give a shit about the regular season. Because everybody in the league, in the world knows that Jimmy Butler doesn't give a shit about the regular season. So it's really nice for Kendrick Perkins to go off and, hey, it fills some time, but it makes little to no sense because you waited too long to do it. You had to do it 2 or 3 years ago. Doing it now is going to be near impossible because most teams don't want him. And Philadelphia would have been the only real logical place because they're kind of desperate to get over the hump. I don't know. Have you seen anything on the Joel Embiid news yet? But I hope it's not a serious injury because if it is, they're out too now. That's like the only place I can think because Joel Embiid will fight for him. But they are going to give you, something back. And it may not be a good salary. And it may be another player that's overpaid. So are you just better off keeping Butler on your roster for the last 2 years that are left and just get out of the contract? And this is why I kept, every time Ira tells me about extensions, I lose my mind. Okay? And Ira's been about giving him the extension. I would hope that, writers locally change their tune. You know what I mean? Because it does not make any sense to give Jimmy Butler an extension and trading him. You're not really, if you're going to give me back Tobias Harris and I have to take that salary for that many years and he's overpaid, yeah, I'm not doing that. So Philly chose Tobias Harris over Butler. Now they realize they need Butler, not Tobias Harris. So we're going to give you Tobias Harris back if you give us Butler. Yeah, why make that trade? So let's just go through the 2 years and wait till and then get it off the books. I know they will be better because Spo is the man. He'll figure shit out. He's awesome. Spo's amazing. But at the same time, we know what this team is. They're not championship caliber. They don't have that other star that they need. And we all love Bam Adebayo, the player. Some of you, unfortunately, have a complete misunderstanding who he is as a player. And so he's not a star. And certainly Tyler isn't a star. So if you can't acquire a star, the Jimmy Butler thing doesn't work. You'll have some nice runs, but you're not going to win a championship. We'll see what happens. I doubt they trade Butler. And I doubt they can acquire a star, too, in the process. That's all I can say. All right? Now, this leads me to a frustrating yet funny-ass story in the NBA. I mean, an absolutely funny-ass story in the NBA. And it's one of those karma stories where I get the one player that's mad, but at the same time, I'm just going to sit back and say, hey, NBA players, screw you. Okay? All of you NBA players, screw you. I have no sympathy for NBA players. Screw all of you. Tyrese Halliburton. The NBA initiated a new 65-game rule for players to qualify for regular season accolades. The idea was eradicated from load management, the frequent resting of players. However, when a player such as Tyrese Halliburton misses time due to a legitimate injury, he stands to lose more than $40 million for no fault of his own. The flip side of the rule that has many enraged. Having missed 14 games already, Halliburton can't afford to sit out only 3 more games to remain in contention for an All-NBA honor and the financial bonus that comes with it. The 23-year-old inked a 5-year contract extension last July with a base salary of $204.5 million. That could increase to $245 million, provided he makes an All-NBA team or wins Defensive Player of the Year. Halliburton says, I think it's a stupid rule like plenty of the guys in the league, but this is what it is and what the owners want. So as players, we got to do our job and play in 65 games if we're able to. So that's what I got to do. Take care of my body to be able to play in those games. And I think you're seeing other players in the league kind of face the same thing as long as owners are happy. Hey, Tyrese, it's about the fans, not about you, dude, not about all of your teammates across the league, and not about the stinking owners. The owners are trying to help save their game because too many idiots around the league, Tyrese, just take games off. And guess what, Tyrese? You don't get your money. Do you feel bad for the family of 4 that spent $250 on parking, tickets, and concessions, and Jimmy Butler didn't play? Or Tyrese Halliburton didn't play? Or LeBron James didn't play? Or Joel Embiid chose to take a night off? Do you feel sorry for them, Tyrese? You know what I'm saying? Because those families will never see $204 million like you are. See, here's where I tell NBA players to go themselves. Pretty simple, NBA. Go yourself. You schmucks only have to play 82 games in a season. You don't even work the whole year. You don't even work for a lifetime, you bunch of lazy pieces of shit. You know, I'm tired of whining millionaire players. Okay? I get that Tyrese Halliburton is frustrated and maybe he's a character guy that doesn't take games off and he had a legitimate injury, which he did. But hey, bro, you work in a lazy league. You work in a league that wants to steal the fans' money because they're not willing to put in a hard day's work every single day like they're supposed to. And yet fans are paying to see you every game. And some fans travel. Some fans can only go to 3 or 4 games or 1 game a year, and they spend a fortune. And when they get there, all of a sudden, Trae Young's not playing because he wants to take a night off. So this rule had to be created because you people are too freaking lazy, disrespectful. Yeah, NBA players, you're all disrespectful. You're all lazy. You're all pathetic. You're all a freaking embarrassment, dude. You're getting paid millions of dollars. They're asking you to play 82 games in 365 days a year. You fly in the best planes. You have the best hotels, the best food, the best training. Michael Jordan had a tenth of what you had. And he played every night and went to casinos the night before and till 2 a.m, then came out and scored 40 points on your ass the next day and was going through the McDonald's drive-thru and then playing again. Alonzo Mourning did not want to take a night off. You know, that's what I respect. I don't respect shit in the NBA in the regular season. Why? Because you don't give a shit about the fans. You don't care about the game. Don't give me this selfish bullshit. Don't give me this wear and tear stuff. I don't give a shit about your wear and tear. Brother, you signed up. You signed the contract. The coal miner doesn't get to pick and choose what days he wants to go down. Nah, you know, my lungs feel a little hard today. I don't feel like going down there. No, your job is to go down there. Sorry, I don't feel like patrolling the streets. I might get shot today. Sorry, you're a cop. You decided to take this job. They don't take days off. They can't take days off. We all have days off, but you can't go taking whatever you're supposed to work. Cops just can't call in and say, I'm supposed to work, but I don't feel like it today. You think a judge wants to deal with 80 people on the docket every day and dealing with idiots and their minds are going crazy and teachers and all that? They got to go to work. NBA players are like the only people in the world that are getting paid millions of dollars to do jack shit. So Tyrese Halliburton, bro, I'm sorry that you're going to lose $40 million maybe. I don't know. Maybe you are. Maybe you won't. Maybe you have luck and you stay healthy all year. But I don't really give a shit. I have no sympathy for any NBA player. Why should I? You don't care about the league. You don't care about the fans. You don't even care about your own team winning, Jimmy Butler. You don't give a shit. You don't give a shit. Jimmy Butler doesn't give a shit. Not during the regular season. And he's all right with that, by the way. He knows everybody's saying that about him. He knows everybody knows that about him. And yet he's going to continue. Thanks, Greg Popovich. That guy can't suffer enough. Okay? I am enjoying every suck-ass season he has post their big three. It's fantastic to watch. He can't lose enough in my book. Vlade Divac brought us flopping, and Popovich brought us laziness. Oh, wear and tear. Oh, screw you, dude. You're retiring at 33 or 35 or 30 years old with a bag of money in your bank. Get out of my face. Get out of my face, dude. Wear and tear, you wussies. I mean, the NBA is just, they're derelicts. That's what they are. They just are lazy and don't care about their responsibilities. And that's it. So I have zero sympathy for NBA players since they have zero sympathy for you. Anyway, Brooklyn Rob, will the contest tonight include bulletproof vests like they use in Arkansas? I don't think we'll have any of those. Right or wrong, Holland shouldn't be yapping on Twitter like a teenager, shaking my head. Handle it like a man in person. What does that mean? He put a thing on Instagram. So the guy leaves after a year, and that's pretty much dissing the team and the defense. And so Javon Holland can express himself. I completely disagree with you. I have no problem with that. Big O, are you concerned with the current showings that Inter might? No, dude, it's preseason, dude. Who gives a shit about preseason? Anybody worried about preseason? Come on, dude. Frankie, please. Let's go. It's preseason, dude. Yes.
You know, there's a big matchup on Thursday, right?
I don't know. What's the matchup? What are we talking about?
Inter Miami.
I don't know who they're playing.
Ronaldo and Messi.
Oh yeah. They're over in
Saudi Arabia.
Saudi Arabia, yes, exactly. Yeah. I don't give a shit.
Well, now Ronaldo's out.
Oh, he is?
Yes, he's out. Calf, he's gonna miss this game.
It's preseason. It's a friendly. Who gives a shit, dude?
Preseason? You saying preseason?
Exactly. We're talking preseason. We're talking exhibition. Exhibition? Yeah, I'm not worried about exhibition, dude. Jets let go of Connor Hughes, assistant GM. Guess Joe Douglas, assistant GM to Aaron Rodgers. Yep. Yeah, basically. That's 1388. That's a good one. Oh, can we trade Hero for what? For what? What's he worth? What's he worth? I mean, you're not going to get shit for Hero. Jimmy Butler is one of those guys, Big O. He basically takes the regular season off. I know. And that's why it'll be very hard to impossible to trade him. He's already shown you the last couple of years how he handles it, and teams aren't going to want that. That by the way, that rule that Halliburton is suffering from, it should be called the Jimmy Butler rule, since he sets the example on how to take days off. Man of 1,005 holds advance in technology and medicine, and still players of the 80s and 90s are still tougher than those guys now. Yeah, oh God, it's not even close. He loves the playoff Jimmy moniker, yeah? Because that's the only time he plays. Sean Hoare, Leslie Frazier, could be the guy. You never know, my man. Could be him, could be Brandon Staley. Big O's so right about this. NBA is lazy and disrespectful, because there's nothing more disrespectful than you're just resting and people are paying their hard-earned money to see you. I don't know how you buy season tickets anymore in the NBA. I don't know how you do that. It doesn't make any sense to buy season tickets in the NBA. Not since they don't care about the regular season and they're not going to play the regular season. Why should you pay full tilt for that? That to me makes zero sense. Big O, I was talking about his Twitter comments towards players, not about Fangio. Well, I've never seen him comment on other players, so I don't know about that one, Basketball Jones. I will have to plead ignorant on that one. I don't know any examples about him going after players. You know anything about that with Javon Holland going after players? In fact, this is the first time I've ever seen him do something negative for somebody like Fangio. So I don't know. If you have an example, send it to me, because I'd like to know, because normally I never see him do that. Oh, you should have a class to teach the NBA players work ethic. They don't want to know any of that shit, dude. Nah, True Fin fan, I disagree. He says, I personally think Jimmy wants out. I wish I was one of the ones opening the door for him. Nah, I don't think so. I just think he wants to have his cake and eat it too. That's all he wants to do, my friend. Jimmy plays like the Chiefs did this regular season. They get bored of the regular season. The problem with Jimmy is he doesn't realize how important seeding is. Yeah, the problem with that is if you think you're going to come out of the bottom again like you did last year, they were trailing. Was it 5 minutes left in the fourth quarter with the Bulls or something? I want to say you were on the brink of elimination against the Bulls, right? I think it was. I don't know, man. Playing with fire in that one. Yeah, put it this way. If you once again, okay, there's something called the Drake Passage. It's in the bottom of South America, okay? It's where the Atlantic Ocean, the Pacific Ocean, the Atlantic Ocean meet, and the Scotia Sea or whatever the hell it is. because the plate is there. And it's one of the most treacherous bodies of water in the world. Okay. And to cross that, you've got to be an experienced sailor, right? And everybody knows it because you have 3 oceans colliding in one spot there in the Drake Passage. So the bottom of it, it's where Argentina and Chile and, all and Antarctica and all that meet, right? And so, and there's a tectonic plate that's there also. So it creates some brutal seas because, again, it's 3 oceans running into each other, atmosphere, swirling winds, all that kind of shit. That's what it's going to be for the Miami Heat. If they think that they're going to get away with that again, and they're going to be an 8 seed or a 9 seed, and they're going to have to go through the play-in round, and they got through the Drake Passage once, okay? I don't think they're going to get through the Drake Passage again. Let's put it that way, okay? Have some fun. Look up the Drake Passage. You can learn a little bit about that rough body of water. I know for Argentine people or Chilean people or whatever, you probably know already about it, but some of you out there, why would you give a shit? But that's what I would compare it. A sailor trying to get through the Drake Passage, which is just brutal. Like it makes government cut here in Miami, which is bad, by the way. You ever seen the smaller boats that are trying to get through government cut? That shit is funny, dude. Okay? Like funny. Like people flying off boats and shit like that. That kind of funny. I mean, awesome. And that's just right here in government cut. All right? Think about it. That's just government cut where you get some rough waters. This is 3 oceans literally meeting in one place. It becomes a violent ocean at that point. That's what it's going to be for the Miami Heat. They're going to be setting sail, and it's going to be tough. It's going to be tough to get through it again. That's all I can tell you. Gordon Shumway says, I feel for the guys who miss games with legit injuries, but the players brought this rule on themselves. If it wasn't for load management, they wouldn't need this rule. Actions have consequences. Exactly. That's why I have zero sympathy for Halliburton or anybody else, because the entire league is lazy and they don't care about fans or the regular season. So why should I give a shit or have any kind of sympathy for them? Big O and Sean, and people wonder why I don't watch the NBA. I loved it in the 80s and 90s and the early 2000s. It's changed. Big O, were you known as Mr. Big Shot in high school? Nope. No, sir. Definitely not a big shot. Still not a big shot. Never will be a big shot, sir. Just a regular dude, brother. That's it. I'm just a regular dude. There's nothing. I may have the nickname Big O, but that's about it. I wasn't a big shot. No. Still not a big shot. Never will be a big shot. Just a regular guy, my brother. And I'm happy that way. I'm very happy that way. Kind of like you have to be experienced in Bitcoin to invest in Sailor. Damn right. Hey, Sailor. The interview is gold. Thank you, sir. You mean hollover, oh? Oh, what did I say? What were we talking about? What was it? What was the hollover? What was the comment? Now I forgot. Oh, you mean the government cut is the one in hollover? Is that the one, or is it the one by Miami government cut? Because that's the one I was talking about. Because that is where the sailboats go through. I mean, the cruise ships go through that cut. That's what I was talking about. But you're right. Also, by the way, that one is brutal too. Let's see. And Jimmy wasn't even the reason the Heat won the last play in that game. It was Max Strus who was having a career game. Yeah. That's right. I'm just a regular dude that likes crypto. You are correct, Frankie. Thank you, sir. Hollover is the crazy one, not government cut. Oh, that's what it is. It's Hollover, the one that I see all the highlights from. Okay, because you go on YouTube. Oh, you know what? You're right. It does say Hollover. It doesn't say government cut. It does say Hollover. You're right about that. That's right. Go on YouTube and look at the Hollover crossing or whatever they call it. And it's funny, dude. I mean, the people like smaller boats and they're flying off the boats because the waves just like bam and people are just flying off the boats. It's scary and funny. Scary for them, hilarious for us. It's kind of the way I look at it. Port of Miami government cut. You're right, Big O. I think that one's pretty bad, but I think they're right that the one that I saw, those highlights, I think are from Hollover. But again, the Drake passage would make that look like child's play. Put it that way. And that's what I think will be. That's kind of my point. The kind of season it'll be for the Heat if they try to do this. Let me tell you what else do we have going on. You want to hear an interesting story that a lot of us were right about. A lot of you were right about, and so was I, because it wasn't something that you or I, it took a lot to kind of figure out. We kind of knew it. Kind of like it's elementary, my dear Watson. Some of you didn't, but here's the thing. Time has a way of changing things, right? And sometimes you don't count on something to happen, and then you say, oh, this would never happen. And then something changes the dynamics, and all of a sudden, it does happen. Well, a lot of us, once we heard Belichick was released, right? Some of you out there were talking about, oh, dude, you know, they gotta fire McCarthy there in Dallas. Jerry's got to hire Belichick. And a lot of us, yours truly, and a lot of you out there, we use common sense. There's no way those two could work together. No freaking way, dude. Jerry's too controlling. And Belichick wants control. So there's no way that they could work together. And nothing happened. McCarthy was kept. And Belichick couldn't find a job. So now Jerry Jones was asked about Bill Belichick. And he goes, I know him personally. And I like him. There's no doubt in my mind we could work together. None. We all know that he's certainly excellent, maybe at the top of his profession. To say that any one person automatically assures you of a Super Bowl is ridiculous. That's too high of an expectation for him, but he is maybe the greatest pro football coach of all time, could very well be. He is a friend and I like him, and I want to make it real clear. I wouldn't have any problem working with him. Now, I want to tell you something about Jerry Jones. Well, I have my negative comments about Jerry, and I can hold them for now. The positive comments I will say is he's a hell of a businessman. He also understands a little psychology, and he just used it. He just planted a seed for a plant that could end up growing and making us look wrong. And I'll tell you why. So Belichick is set in his ways and he wants his control. But guess what? He got a slice of that humble pie this offseason. 7 teams had coaching vacancies. 7 teams said, Bill, thanks, but no thanks. We're out of here. Or 6, right? Because New England can't count. All right. So they all said, no thanks. Even Atlanta, they would not break up their franchise the way it was structured so he could take over and run everything. So now Belichick gets to eat that humble pie the entire year. I don't know if he's going to go into broadcasting. which would be actually pretty interesting to watch him in broadcasting. I want you guys to watch something called the history of AFL pro football or something. I've told you about this. It's a 5-part series. It is one of the greatest biographies you will ever see about football. And it's all about the history of the AFL between from 1960 and 1970 into the merger with the NFL and the history of it all. And I want you to see some of the interviews with Belichick there. That's the Belichick you're going to get, not the one, So, because you hear people on television talk about, oh, no, he would be good. They are right. He actually, when he wants to, he does this on purpose. He doesn't talk to anybody. And he mumbles and whatever. But go watch him in that series. And he's smiling and he openly talks about football and all that. Because you get him talking about football and he'll become a parrot. You try to tell him to brag about himself or talk about his team. He hates doing it. He doesn't want to do any of that. That's all it is. And so he purposely screws with you. But he does have a personality. It's just you need to watch the history of the AFL, that 5-part series, and you'll see what I'm talking about. But back to my point. He has he's had a slice of humble pie handed to him. Now he gets to eat it all year. Okay? Now he has to think, am I getting too old? Nobody wants me. And one thing they made clear, it looks like they don't want to give me control. And I got to tell you, here's where I was wrong 1,000%. Jesus Christ, was I wrong. I thought for sure somebody would be stupid enough to say, here, Bill, here's the keys to the kingdom. It's all yours. Please save our franchise. Nobody was willing to do that. A year from now, when he's a year out of football, I don't know if somebody will be willing to do that or not. That's the only way he gets a job. But if he cannot get that job where he gets total control, then I can actually see him settling for the Cowboys and saying, well, I got to deal with the hierarchy and the players they bring in. They do have a good roster, by the way. Actually, I have to give, Stephen Jones and his staff. I actually know a couple of scouts with the Cowboys. Okay. And I'm going to tell you something they tell me all the time, because I mentioned it to one of my friends that's a Cowboys scout about 6 years ago. And I assumed, which made me look like an ass, of course. And I said, so you guys bring those reports and they just, throw them in the trash and Jerry picks whoever the hell he wants. And he goes, no, they actually listen to us. They actually take our advice. Players that you see there have been chosen by a lot of the scouts. They're actually very good at listening. So for the ego stuff that you hear, some of the scouts, and they'll tell me straight up, especially one of the two guys that I know is kind of like me, that he has no qualms in telling you exactly what the deal is. And he told me actually they're very good. They're very fair. And they actually treat their employees at an incredibly high level. So they have a very good reputation inside the league. Now, as for the coach, well, the coach is a puppet and has been a puppet since Jerry Jones is there. So that's one thing that does not change, and it's there. But if Belichick cannot find a home, Jerry has done everything to lay the groundwork and say, hey, man, I would have no problem working with him. Now, it's going to have to be on his terms, and Belichick's going to have to know that. But he knows that if McCarthy fails next year and nobody is willing to hand the keys of the kingdom to Belichick, then the Cowboys will have one of the better rosters that he should consider to go if he cannot get what he wants. He couldn't get it this year. Will he get it next year? Because you got to figure next year is shit or get off the pot for Bill Belichick. He either gets the job or he's out. He's done. It's over for him. So Jerry did a nice little psychological ploy to kind of put himself in that position for a possible acquisition of Bill Belichick in 2025. Very smart by the old man. Very smart. Top five favorite Super Bowls, Big O, since 91 to present day. Oh God, Anthony, that would take me too long to think about that. I cannot come up off the top of my head with that right now. There's no way I could do that. Reckless boaters and people renting boats out there. Yeah, that there's a lot of that. You're 1,000% right. Cigar Social. Ocala Joe. A lot of people, by the way, are moving up into that area of Florida. Like the suburbs around Ocala and Ocala, I'm hearing. Anyway, for Ocala Joe, I said that cause the wife showed me the high school yearbook and I saw you on the journalist page. That's the quote they had for you. Oh, really? Dude, I don't remember at all. I mean, yeah, I was in journalism. I was in yearbook. What, did your wife go to school with me? Your wife went to Hialeah High? Okay. Yeah, I had a lot of fun in high school. I gotta say, I was in yearbook. I was in photography. I mean, I did anything and everything that would get me out of school. So, you know, I had photog, and I had photog classes and yearbook classes after lunch, I think it was. Yes, after the first lunch. So that way I could have a second lunch. So I would grab for yearbook, then I'd say, okay, I'm going to take the camera and go out and take some pictures and some stuff for the year. Okay, go ahead. And I could disappear for the hour. You know, Mrs. Sipe, I want to say, was the yearbook teacher. By the way, she got arrested or something for stealing money from the school. Okay. Yeah, she did. Yeah. Didn't help that I sold some yearbooks on the side. Anyway, so, you know, discount $10. You're going to pay 20. Here's one for 10. So anyway, so yearbook, I would use it as the second lunch, right? And then photography, it would be before PE. So then it was my fifth period and PE was my sixth period. I took PE all 3 years. Okay, that was my favorite class, PE and music. I mean, listen, I had it so good back in the day. You know that we didn't have to take math in our senior year? Suck it, kids. You lose. Your schooling is way harder than mine. I had 2 requirements my senior year in Hialeah High. So my 4 other classes, I had 2 lunch periods, PE, yearbook, photog, and there was like some other bullshit class, music. I mean, my senior year was like, it was glorious, bro. It was just glorious. You know, skip, go to the beach, go to Waikiki, go hang out, go to 81st Street Beach. You know, it was just, that's why for you kiddies out there, if there's any kiddies that are watching, man, enjoy. I know you can't enjoy school as much as we did because we also had open school too. We got in our cars and went to lunch. You know what I mean? Something you kiddies can't do anymore. They lock you in. You know, we were out and about for a lunch or two, some of us. So, yeah, it was good. It was fun. I had a blast. I got to say, high school was fun, man. It was fun. I pretty much knew everybody, and it was a blast. And parties Hialeah High was a part. Ask your, I don't know if your wife partied with us, but Ocala Joe, you can ask your wife. Hialeah High was a party school. There were parties either on weekends at the beach, different hotels. We were all getting together at Waikiki or Marco Polo, or the Colonial or whatever, all those different types of hotels that were throughout, the North Miami Beach area. Or we were having pool parties at different homes in Hialeah. Well, for us rockers, we used to have like at least once a month, we would have a pool party that had a stage right at the edge of the pool. And we had a couple of bands that would be jamming all afternoon. Okay, we didn't have a DJ. We literally had metal bands jamming. What was it? Hammerhead was one of them. Hammerhead was actually pretty popular back in the early to mid 80s locally. They would play at Strawberries and Flynn's and, different places. I'm bringing some memories back for some of you older folks out there. Ocala Joe, I don't know what was she a rocker? Was she a disco person? Was she a geeky person? Was she an athletic person? I don't know what clique she hung out with. You know what I'm saying? So all depends. But yeah, we were a party school. Hialeah High goes underrated. Back in the day, I can't talk about Hialeah High now, but back in the day, it was a party school. Oh, how can we purchase Big O shirts and hats? We don't live in Miami anymore. It's coming. It's coming. I promise you. I will have it up by Monday. Okay. We've got it all set up. Everything is set. I just got to load it up on the website and connect the bank account stuff, and then we're ready to go. And we will have stuff to sell. I will have it up next week, guaranteed. Do you think Belichick would be willing to be a head coach without having all? That's what I just said, that I think his humbling might lead him to that next year. And normally he would never work for Jerry Jones, Frankie. But if nobody's willing to give him power and they're willing to hire him, then you've got to go to a team that's got a pretty good roster, since you're not going to have great power. The Cowboys have a pretty good roster. Okay? So Belichick could do a lot of damage with a roster like the Cowboys. I know Dak could end up choking anyway, and Bill can't control that part. But that's my point, that the humbling could bring him to the extreme of even working for Jerry Jones. So that's why Jerry, he's not going to hire anybody that isn't going to work for him. Okay? But that's why Jerry, very smart, just threw it out there like I would have no problem. I could easily work with him. But of course, it's going to be on the Jones, terms. So that's why I threw it out there. When I saw Jerry do that yesterday, I was, you psychological some bitch. Wow, that is genius on your part, dude. That was genius on Jerry Jones' part. Genius. Planted a seed for next year. The Colonial Pool was a staple, says Christian. Big O, now they take gender affirmation classes. It's a different world, my brother. It's a different world. It's just the way it is. I don't worry about culture wars, my man. I don't get stuck in that. Don't really care about it. Doesn't bother me whatsoever. So that silliness is, I worry more about other things. What you all should be worrying about is what they do with our economy. The culture stuff is the silliest shit in the world that people are worried about. This is the AFL was excellent. Bill was pretty good in that. I know. People need to see Bill Belichick in that light. Oh, you want to talk the AFL? Oh, you want to talk, like, watch him. Completely different dude. You're like, is that AI? That's a fake Belichick I'm watching, right? You ever seen that? That's what you're going to say when you're sitting there. You're going, he's sociable. He's smiling. He's happy. That's not real, right? That's what you're going to be telling your friends and family members when you watch it. You go, no. That's not Belichick. So, Science was way worse, my worst subject in high school. Mine was math. Once I got past basic math, like I kill it with, adding, subtracting, dividing, multiplying, percentages, you name it. All business math, I kill it. Once you start sticking in an X and a Y, you can go to hell. Okay? You just go to hell. Okay? Once you start adding letters, I have no use for that shit. I'm not an engineer and I don't plan on being any kind of engineer, a chemical engineer, a structural engineer, a space engineer. I don't need any of that shit. Okay? So get lost with your quantum physics, get lost with your calculus and your all that. Get the hell out of here with algebra and algebra 2 and geometry and trigonometry, and get out of here with that shit. Now, my wife and daughter, they absolutely kick ass in that. Yeah, I hated math, bro. The word math. The other stuff, I love them. I actually used to love math up until you started throwing in letters. And then that's when, that's like an exorcist for me, bro. Get out of here. Leave me alone. Like 11th grade was hell for me because I was forced to take business math for half a year, which I loved, but the second half of the year I had to do pre-algebra. And I know 99% of you are going, oh, what kind of a dumbass are you that you couldn't figure out pre-algebra? I did, but I'm a dumbass. Barely. I barely got by pre-algebra. I hated it. It was like, my wife says it all the time. She goes, I could easily teach algebra. I could teach anybody if you pay attention to this and that. And I'm like, yeah, my problem is I get intimidated by it and frustrated with it. And so I want nothing to do with it. You don't have any patience. Yeah. And I have no interest in learning it also. Because I knew I wasn't ever going to be an engineer in high school. Like I knew it. I was like, what the hell do I want this shit for? And then in my senior year, when I didn't have to take any math, oh my God, that was heaven. It was English and science, I believe. That's the only two requirements I had. And I loved English and science. I have no problem with that. And history too. I had no problem with those subjects. But math, word math with letters. I mean, yeah, that was brutal for me, dude. Let's see. The wife was a disco queen, practically lived in Casanova. Action. Disco satisfaction. That's where Madonna did her first tour, first album. She came to Casanova. So she went to Casanova. She used to go to Strawberries across the street also then, huh? There you go. I used to go to Casanovas. Why would you care about it, chatter? You are silly. I don't know what that means. Oh, I wish more people looked at culture like you do. It doesn't affect you. Don't worry about it. No need to get mad at shit that doesn't affect you in a negative way. It's so stupid, bro. Look at these idiots now going after Taylor Swift. Like, bro, get a life. Why? She may not vote for you? Oh, come on, man. People are going to vote one way or the other. Who gives a shit? It's all this silliness, dude. They're just into all these culture wars and personal conflicts and all that. Screw all that, man. I'm seeing what you're doing with my money. That's what I'm worried about. How you're flushing all my goddamn money down the toilet. That's what I'm worried about. Oh, what's your take on an 18-game season and expanding rosters? Eventually, it will happen. You should make the 53-man roster completely active. And the 18th game, as I've said 1,000 times over. Okay. As I said 1,000 times over, I've been saying this for 4 years now, easily. You need to have an 18-game schedule, and you need to have 2 bye weeks. So it's a 20-week schedule. And you have a bye week for every Thursday night game. So every time you're going to play a Thursday night game, you're off the week before. That way, you kill that bye week and then the other bye week. And that way you can have the bye weeks in the first half of the season and the second half of the season. So everybody, and what you can do is break it up, and give people, rest twice. And at the same time, your Thursday games, all of a sudden, instead of being bad games, they become great games because they're going to have 11 days to prepare for those games. And then when they're done with that game, they're going to have another 10 days to prepare for the following game. So it gives them rest. So it's basically like 2 back-to-back bye weeks surrounding a Thursday game. So it takes care. It's only common sense to make it 18 games. It's only common sense to include 2 bye weeks. I don't know why common sense takes so long in this world to happen. Whatever, dude. You know, it's better for the players to have 2 bye weeks. Playing a 17 or 18 game schedule is not going to do anything. But what will extend your career is that you're going to have a bye week for every Thursday game. And that will create 0 issues for that game from now on. Everybody will be well rested before it and after it. And it gives teams time to kind of catch up with their bodies and all that kind of stuff and treatment. So I think it's the inevitable because greed will step in. Kind of like what's going on with Bitcoin. You know, they're chewing up, 1,200 Bitcoin a day, and they're only producing like 600 and something a day. And here comes, Tokyo and Japan, and they're going to open it up, and then greed will step in because they know that there's a finite amount. Well, greed will step in here also, and they're all going to realize one more game and a bye week will buy us even more advertising for 2 more weeks. That's it. Oh, and by the way, with the 2 bye weeks, if my math is correct, you'll have less teams off per week in a way. You can actually break it up even more evenly because some weeks there's way more and some weeks there's less. You'll be able to break it up a little bit less and spread out throughout the year a little bit more. So it might even balance out a little bit more having the 2 instead of having the 1. So it helps out in so many different ways. It helps your Thursday night game for promotion, for health, all of that. It helps out the players for longevity because they get 2 weeks off. It helps out for finances because now you're getting the revenue from the 18th week and then the extra bye week. So those are 2 weeks of football that you're adding. Now you've got 20. So you're adding 2 more weeks of revenue streaming also at the same time. There are no negatives to it. There are only positives to it. You're better off playing 18 games. You're better off playing 18 with 2 bye weeks than 17 with 1 bye. I mean, I can't make, just off the top of my head, I can't give you better arguments than that right there. You know what I mean? It only makes sense. So the inevitable will happen. Bitcoin will dominate and we'll get an 18-game schedule. It's the inevitable. It will happen. Just doesn't happen overnight. You must have taken physics as your science class. No, I did not. I did not take physics. No, sir. Big O, what's your favorite Dolphin of all time? Oh, it's Marino. Marino will always be my favorite Dolphin of all time. Nat Moore is my favorite wide receiver of all time. But Marino is my favorite Dolphin of all time. Yeah, you'll never get anything bad out of me for Marino, ever. I freaking love that guy. I honor the ground he walks on. Okay, and it kills me that we never gave him enough to win. Oh, by the way, yes, just like Tua, you can't win with not enough. You can't win with bad coaching. Yeah, doesn't matter if you're Tua or Marino. Doesn't matter because he needs a perfect situation. Yes, so did Marino, asshole. That's why he didn't win shit. That's why he didn't have long runs in the playoffs a whole bunch of times. Did it only a couple times. Why? Because he didn't have help. It's like, it's so idiotic the way Tua is treated at times. Can you buy a home and live in El Salvador with just Bitcoin? Yes, you can, sir. You can live anywhere on Bitcoin, buy anything on Bitcoin. The part that so many of you that don't invest, you don't understand. You know, you convert your Bitcoin immediately to cash, like right away. And if the company accepts Bitcoin, then go ahead. Now, I would never buy anything with Bitcoin. Again, that's the other rookie statement you just made. Rookies, people that don't know shit, use Bitcoin as money. Or people that don't have the wherewithal to save. Those people I can't, I can't blame anybody that, doesn't have the capabilities to save. They're just eking by. And in Salvador, the few people that are probably using Bitcoin that live there, El Salvadorians, they're probably just using the money that they get and they're surviving. Those people I get. But anybody else that is really, truly, if you're saving money or stocks or whatever, if you own Bitcoin and you're using it as currency, you're not very smart because it shouldn't be used as currency. Okay. Lamar Jackson does need help. He did that day. It's funny, Jam. So I know you put a funny face next to it, but his coach failed him by not running the ball. And he put him in a position to fail because he's not a passer. Never has been, never will be. He'll complete some passes. Doesn't make him a passer. Big O, do you rock the Deftones? Hell yeah. I recently really got into their catalog a few years ago and I'm hooked. Yeah. Bill Preston, rest in peace, my brother. Love you. He's the one that got me into the Deftones. And Chirino, right? Chirino is the lead singer. And so I do like the Deftones. I've seen them many times. I think like 4 or 5 times. I've seen the Deftones. They're fun, man. They're fun. I enjoy the Deftones. Very good catalog. You are correct. Who is my favorite cornerback of all time? Shit, dude. I don't have one. I have 2. Thought I still had it here. Let me see. Hold on. Hold on. Give me a second. Props. We got to have props sometimes on the show. If I can find the damn props, then maybe. But no, I can't. Damn it. I think I put him away, by the way. I think I put him away, unfortunately. But I had a shirt here of the no passing zone of Sam Madison, Pat Surtain. Love those 2 dudes. So I can't pick one over the other. And I'm biased because I covered their careers here, got to know them personally. Great freaking dudes, bro. And they didn't have enough. You didn't give them an offense. You didn't give them a running game on a consistent basis. Once in a while they had a running game, but they didn't have the quarterback and they didn't have the offense. And a lot of times they didn't even have the coach that could get it done. So there you go. Big O, I would have liked to have seen Marino throwing it to Warfield. Well, that would have been fun. Big O, with another game added, how many additional injuries would occur? I don't know. You'll have to find out yourself. It's the way it goes, man. Shit happens. By the way, great move by the Steelers, hiring Arthur Smith as their OC. I thought that was a fantastic move. Arthur Smith did not belong maybe as a head coach, but he is a terrific play designer. And Steelers kind of needed that. Matt Canada thing was a disaster over there. He had a burner account and all that other stuff going on. Just crazy stuff. But not that I'm a Steelers guy or anything, but if there's any Steelers fans out there, I got to say that was a really nice move, overall. Super Bowl, by the way, the Niners, the line has gone up -2. So it looks like a lot of dumb money is coming in on the Niners. Sorry, KC's winning this game. By the way, the right wingers going after Taylor Swift, man, you people are just a bunch of losers. Yeah, and by the way, not very smart. Maybe you're better off trying to be friendly instead, so that way you can win her over, which I doubt you will, and maybe win over her fan base, which is really powerful. The Swifties and the Beehive. I don't think you want to instigate shit with those people. You know what I'm saying? I don't think you want to be picking fights with those people. They are relentless. I'm saying, look at the deep fake AI of Taylor Swift. Okay? I mean, laws are going to be passed because it was Taylor Swift. If it was you or me or Demi Moore or Tom Hamilton or, you can pick any fresh actor or old actor or anybody and whatever, it's a fake AI, whatever, who cares, this, that. There's a fake AOC AI that's going around, all that kind of stuff. And nobody would care. Look, the AOC one, nobody cares. But it's Taylor Swift. Oh, man, the world is losing their minds that there's a sexually explicit AI of Taylor Swift. It draws so much attention that it's going to force laws. Idiots. What a bunch of morons. And by the way, the Lions, good job by Dan Campbell, because Ben Johnson told Washington and Seattle, not interested. I'm going to stay here. And he does not have a defection of coaches, which allows him to maintain that continuity for next year. That was pretty good that's really good news for Dan Campbell, I got to say. Dan the man, he definitely proved me wrong. Let's go to a little music news and birthdays. Let's start off with the birthdays today. Why don't we? On January 31st, Justin Timberlake is 43 years old. Jackie Robinson was born on this date in 1919. We lost him in 72. Joel Courtney, movie actor, is 28. I have no idea who he is. I do know Kerry Washington, actress. She is 47. Portia de Rossi, actress, is 51. Julian Alvarez, soccer player, is 24. Tyler Hubbard, country singer, is 37. Let's see. Jonathan Banks, TV actor, is 77. Nolan Ryan, baseball pitcher, also 77 years old. And those are the folks celebrating birthdays today. Okay. And in music history, let's start off with a little music history. On January 31st, here are some of the reasons why this day matters on January 31st. You want to find out why it matters? Well, in 1969, Led Zeppelin played their first of two nights at New York's Fillmore East during their North American tour. The set was allegedly so powerful that headliners Iron Butterfly refused to follow them. Inagata Devita. That's all we got for 14 minutes. These guys just jammed for 2 hours. In 1981, Blondie went to number one on the singles charts with The Tide is High. It was the group's third number one song. In 2007, a previously unreleased poem that Jim Morrison wrote and recorded shortly before he died in 1971 was set to music and used to publicize a campaign to stop global warming. In 2001, it was announced that Peter Criss was leaving Kiss and that Eric Singer would fill his spot for the remainder of the dates on the band's farewell tour. And that, my friends, is what happened today in music history. By the way, if you're a Joni Mitchell fan, She is having a concert for the first time in 24 years at the Hollywood Bowl. And I know we have a lot of listeners all over the country. So she will have her first show in 24 years at the Hollywood Bowl, October 19th. It'll be called the Joni Jam. So enjoy if you want to go. Okay. Joni Mitchell. How about that? Classic, dude. Queens of the Stone Age announced a U.S. tour, and they are coming to South Florida. They'll be here in Hollywood at the Hard Rock on May 10th, Daytona Beach for Welcome to Rockville, May 11th. And just to give you a couple dates for our friends in Calgary on April 1st, Saskatoon, April 3rd, Kingston, Ontario, April 9th. They're going to a lot of cities in Canada, so you can check it out. Halifax, Nova Scotia, the 17th of April. Raleigh, North Carolina, May 2nd. Atlanta, May 4th. Those are some of the dates you may want to check if you want to see Queens of the Stone Age. It's another one. And, I think that's about it. That is about it on the music side. Oh, one more. Pet Shop Boys. I found this weird. I read this today. I read this morning. I had no idea that the Pet Shop Boys were doing this. But apparently they have a movie coming out that will be available in 1,400 theaters in 50 countries worldwide, giving the beloved British duo a 2-night-only event screening Wednesday, January 31st and Sunday, February 4th. Their new upcoming film, Pet Shop Boys Dream World, The Hits Live. Now, you know what? I got no problem with Pet Shop Boys. I think they're a terrific duo. They've done a great job. They've got a bunch of hits. Are they big enough that they would draw people to a theater? Metallica, the aforementioned Taylor Swift, the aforementioned Beyonce. Okay. U2. You know, I could think of a couple of artists that would be that big that they could do a movie and people will go watch it. Okay, there's a few. Pet Shop Boys is not one of them. Maybe I'm wrong, but I don't know how this is really going to be a major hit. That one I don't understand. Is it just me? I found that one weird, to be quite honest. So, I don't know what to tell you. Frankie Fresco. He's got a super chat. Thank you, Frankie, by the way. Appreciate you. Big O Cody Rhodes won the Royal Rumble. But who cares? AEW Wednesday. Jon Moxley versus Jeff Hardy. Who we got? Ooh, this is hard. Because both Moxley and Hardy have won battles that you guys have given me predictions. And I remember that. Now, you know, Moxley and Moxie, I think I've mentioned this before, is kind of, you know, in the same territory. So I am going to lean to John, Jon Moxley, against Jeff Hardy. Okay? I will be laughing all the way with this win. I'm going to bet this thing up that it'll be Moxley over Hardy, har. That's what's going to happen. I will be laughing at Jeff Hardy tonight as Moxley wins. Sean, what do I get for that prediction? Ooh, I got 2 thumbs up. Look out. Love it. Thank you, Sean. Miami never did a good job replacing Duper Clayton for Marino. Once they were gone, no disrespect. OJ, Fryer, or Gadsden and Dupe were not what? But okay, who's Jerry Rice? I mean, really, are we going to play that game, dude? Who's Michael Irving? You know, what's the CD Lamb? Terrific player. Still not Michael Irvin. I mean, come on, man. We could play that game all over the place. You know, it's a little bit of an unfair game, my man. Ocala Joe with some love on Cash App. Thank you, sir. Appreciate you big time. Thank you. Thank you, Ocala Joe. Very nice of you, my man. Very nice of you. Remember, Cash App or Venmo at Cash Big O Show. That is Cash Big O Show, Cash App or Venmo. And, of course, you can always send a Bitcoin donation to Cash App or Venmo. Thank you all, as always. Oh, man. What else do we have going on that I'd like to talk about? So we had a couple of guys arrested. Did you see this story? It's a little bit of a different kind of story here. Okay, if you're standing, I want you sitting. If you're driving, pull to the side right now. Do you know why men really don't live longer lives than women at times? Do you want to know why women constantly laugh at men, or your wife is constantly laughing at you? Because we're not a very intelligent breed of people, the male being. And this is a great example here coming out of Arkansas, Benton County, Arkansas. Police arrested 2 men after they took turns shooting one another while wearing a bullet-resistant vest. Charles Eugene Ferris, 50, and Christopher Hicks, 36, were arrested Monday, April 1st, in connection with an aggravated assault. This is an old story, obviously, but I've never seen this story, so it was funny. They were released on a $5,000 bond and were issued no contact order from the Benton County Jail on the 2nd. Benton County Sheriff's Deputy Dorian Hendricks went to Mercy Hospital around 11 Sunday, March 31st, to investigate a male who had been shot multiple times while wearing a bulletproof vest. Hendricks interviewed Ferris, who had a red spot in his chest. Ferris told to elaborate the story to try and cover up the truth. He said someone from the edge of a tree line began shooting at him and the asset on the Highway 12, according to the affidavit. Ferris changed his story about the incident and said he did not want to get Hicks in trouble, so he made up his prior story. He then told police what really happened and said he had been drinking on his back deck with Hicks and wanted Hicks to shoot him with the vest on. Hicks shot Ferris with a .22 caliber semi-automatic rifle. The bullet hit the top left corner of the vest, stopping the bullet but leaving a red mark. Ferris told police he was pissed, and Hicks put on the vest, the affidavit said. Ferris then unloaded the clip into Hicks' back. According to a police report, no rounds from the .22 caliber semi-automatic penetrated the vest. Good vest, by the way. Oh. We're not an impressive breed. We're just not. We're not. And that's a great example of why we're not an impressive breed of being. Whew. Wow. When sports and business collide, folks, we like doing something called the KSDT CPA Sports Business Report. Brett Dodger says Pet Shop Boys might draw some West End girls, but that's about it. I like it. I like that line. Frankie has Travis Scott. You mean Travis Scott movie would draw in people? Is that what you're saying? By the way, did you see what Travis Scott just did this weekend? There was a custodian, a janitor or whatever in the arena. And he goes, "You need a night off and I'm giving you $5,000. That was pretty cool. Props to Travis Scott on that one. I know he's gone through a rough patch because he had that tragedy happen in one of his concerts where, you know, when you're old, you live through things, you experience them, and then Travis was too young to know about the Who and know about, crowds and getting stomped and all that kind of stuff, and he started something that he probably shouldn't have. Obviously that was terrible. But he did something over the weekend that I thought was cool, and I got to give him props for that. And that was cool because the custodian or the janitor or whatever, the guy was picking up the trash, and he was like, he was a happy camper. Good for him, man. That was cool. Anyway, 7-time Super Bowl champion Tom Brady is merging his health and nutrition company TB12 and his apparel company Brady with training brand No Bull. As part of the deal, Brady will become the number 2 shareholder in No Bull behind Body Armor and founder Mike Repole. And he bought the company last year, Mike. Terms of the deal now provided. No Bull was founded in 2015 by former Reebok executives Marcus Wilson and Michael Schaefer. The Boston-based company employs about 100 people across the U.S., UK, and China and sells its sneakers and apparel primarily online. Under the merger, the company will continue to operate under the brand name No Bull and aims to become a complete wellness company. I wanted to do something really big, Repole said about the deal with Brady. I think No Bull has a chance here to be this epic, historic brand playing in space of health and wellness through sneakers, apparel, nutrition, mentality, and really helping people with adversity, resilience, and grit. Repole, who made his fortune turning beverage brands into household names, purchased a majority of stake of No Bull in July. His track record includes selling Body Armor to Coca-Cola for $5.6 billion in 21, in addition to creating the Vitamin Water and Smart Water brands, which he sold to Coca-Cola in 2007. So this guy's pretty good. Kind of knows his stuff. And Tom Brady, he's not stupid. He's going to have success. Just like he's been practicing his broadcasting for months now, doing, what's it called, simulated games and all that kind of stuff, so he can prepare for next season on Fox, where he's going to be the analyst and he'll be calling the Super Bowl next year too. So a lot of stuff going on for Tom Brady. In the Garden, Inagata Davida is supposed to be called In the Garden of Eden. The lead singer mistook its pronunciation. Oh, okay. In the Garden of Eden, Inagata Davida. Okay. I like that. That's a fun nugget. Didn't know that. All right, folks, we are out of here. We thank, of course, Matt Verderame and David Furones. We thank, of course, the one and only Sean Stanley, the legend, getting it done, as always, mastering the entire platform. Today, we will see you at Top Gun Indoor Range. All right? First ever shooting contest. We got all kinds of prizes and giveaways. Tonight, 7 o'clock, Top Gun Indoor Range. Come on out and join us. Steve and all the great people out there. We will see you. You all be good out there. See you tomorrow in the afternoon. Same time, same place, same bat channel.
All right, folks, the competition is set this Wednesday, January 31st, 7 p.m., Top Gun Indoor Range. Just got the plaque for the winner. Our first shooting contest at Top Gun, 7 o'clock. Hey, by the way, everybody participating in the shooting contest will get a Big O t-shirt. So come on out and participate. Even participating, you win. We'll have some prizes and giveaways. The winner will get this plaque, Orvieto's Awards, and more. They are in North Miami Beach. I've known them for about 30 years. They do great work. And then, of course, Steve and all the great people at Top Gun Indoor Range is going to be fun. We're going to make this a contest every couple of months. We're going to have some fun. So this is our first plaque ever for the giveaway. So who's going to win it? Who is it? Who's got the best shot here in South Florida? Meet us this Wednesday, January 31st, 7 p.m., Top Gun Indoor Range. Y'all be good out there. And, of course, tune in to the Big O Radio Show daily, 10 a.m. on YouTube.